Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Get Off the Damn Fence. I'm Larry Caution, joined as I am each and every week by co-hosts Calvin Thomas, Justin the BA, the Barbara Harris. Gentlemen, how y'all doing tonight?
What's happening?
What's going on with
You know, Isaiah Joe, all I needed was 8 points. This man, I don't think he checked in.
you? Should have played them last night when they was resting their starters.
Anyway, Jalen Williams not playing tonight. You got one job. Anyway,
He in the game though.
no points.
You
I'd rather
played
you
him
been
last-
inactive and they void him off my ticket.
There you go.
Anyway,
He about to go to free throw line.
he need to go a lot more. I need Shea to score like 5-2, but he'll get that. Anyway, how y'all doing tonight? What's going on, man? It's been a week. I just put it there. It's been a week. Sports has been crazy. We got a lot to get into tonight. But we're gonna do it like we did last week. We had a good time with it. Just freestyling, hitting them, passing the ball around, hitting topic at the topic. So tonight, Calvin, you're gonna start us off. What's been on your mind? What's a topic that's been burning in your soul and been really, really making you wonder what the hell is going on in the world of sports? What's happening?
NFL free agency. Franchise period is over as of yesterday afternoon, I think. Well, this afternoon, yesterday afternoon, 1 or 2. Free agency starts next Wednesday afternoon. The league year starts, so all these pending releases and pending trades will be official. McDuffie to the Rams. We heard about that today, but that wasn't a big surprise. Kyler Murray getting cut. We briefly talked about that in the group chat. The draft is 6 weeks away. So, but look, I'm into the rebuilding of teams right now. I'm looking at teams that have bright futures, like the Raiders, with what can happen on offense with Clint Kubiak and Gentry and Bowers and with the young talent they have. And I look at the quarterback position. I look at Mendoza. I've had this conversation a lot. If you look at next year's draft is very quarterback heavy. I think when I did a little bit of research, just glanced into next year's draft, there is potentially 6 quarterbacks that go into the top 10. Not the first round, the top 10. Mm-hmm. If that is the case, and you have any questions about Mendoza, how do you draft the number 1 via the Raiders? Or why do you draft number 1 via the Raiders? Why don't you get a bunch of picks, go back a couple spots, go to the Jets at 2, get that pick next year, and then you can able to build this powerhouse. Unless you're completely 100% sure that he is the best QB in the draft this year and next year, how do you draft Mendoza? And that's been my deep dive for the last couple weeks, just getting into the draft, and we could talk about what the Ravens are doing with likely Linderbaum. I'm happy they didn't franchise Linderbaum. That's another thing that we could talk about as well. But right now, that's the Mendoza hype. I mean, the more I look at him, I don't know if I see it. And the quieter they get without actually saying they like him, that they're attending this pro day, just going all out, I don't think the Raiders like him either. So I'm expecting to shake up at the top of the draft. But overall, looking at the draft and looking at free agency, Isaiah likely has some kind words to say on up in Adams with Kay Adams today about Baltimore. So, he said he's open to coming back. And just to summarize it, I don't think he's coming back though. He's going to get a lot of money to be a starting tight end somewhere, maybe even down 95 in DC. But right now, just it's football. If football's year round, it's just what I'm kind of after the combine last week. Trades starting to develop, and we get free agency next week where everything just starts to happen, on the fly. So that's really what I'm thinking about. So what's y'all responses? What y'all got?
What you think, Justin?
That Mendoza thing. Is he generational? You think he's? I don't want to throw generation out there. Is he a franchise player? Do you think that he's really a top of the line? The Raiders are going to be in playoff contention for the next 10 to 15 years under Mendoza. I believe that he might be a product of the team that he was on. They was very explosive. Some of the best athletes in the nation was on that team, and he was the benefactor of it. Not saying that he's what's Slim name from Miami when they had all them boys. He ain't Ken Dorsey. You know what I'm saying? He's not him. But I think I don't know if he's like him, right? With capital letters in a sense. So it's interesting to see the Raiders are going to do it, right? They're going to pick him.
Got to.
It's just one of those things where some of these number one picks haven't been panning out as successfully as people would like to. And it's some of the other draft picks that's been, I guess, playing with a chip on their shoulder to prove that they are better than what's been advertised, and they've been necessarily looking better in the NFL.
I have a different approach to that. I think the fact that he did what he did in Indiana, and I know a lot of people will say, well, they had a lot of transfers and all that kind of stuff. I still think it's very difficult to play with the pressure on you. And he was projected to be exactly what he turned out to be the entire year. And he cashed in on it. I mean, he bet on himself. Remember, this guy was at the University of Miami. He made the move. Like, he wasn't like somebody who just, the road was just perfect from start to finish, you know. And I don't think the Raiders cannot take him. Like, at this point, you reset the market when you take a rookie quarterback that you ain't got to worry about paying that big money for a few years. You can build a team around him. You already have issues with Crosby and all that. You got a tight end. You got the running back. You got
no reason to trade him.
But why? What are you going to get? Who's a free agent quarterback that you're going to put in there to build with the young tight end, with the young running back? Why not get the young quarterback to be on a similar time schedule with the sophomore running back? Well, and I think Bowers is on his third year coming up.
This will be his third year.
Yeah, third year coming up. I don't think that's bad. You got to pay your tight end a year too early, and you running backs. We know how that goes. But you put a quarterback with him, now you can focus on, let's go get another receiver. Let's go get some more ancillary pieces. If you trade Crosby, that's where you get the value, and you bring more value back from there. And then you build, like, you can build a whole team. Like, I think
I agree with
quarterback
everything you're saying.
is too important to pass a by. It's not no quarterback on the open market that they can go out and get right now. It's going to instantly make them like a winner.
I agree.
This is time.
I agree with everything you're saying, and that's why my point is, if you don't think that he is better than everyone in next year's draft, you don't draft him.
But what if they do?
If they do, then you draft him. If you do, but my point being, you can trade and get a slew of picks for that number one pick. You could trade Crosby and get a couple number one picks. So you can rebuild in these two drafts. But if you are not 100% sold on Mendoza, you don't take him. If you're only taking him because he's the best quarterback in this draft, you don't take him. I don't think that's my point.
That's the point. Who's coming out next year? Who's supposed to be better than him? You think Arch Manning is better than him? We've seen Arch Manning.
The guy from Ohio State.
We've seen his tape. He ain't better than Mendoza.
Okay, but you're right. But my point is, next year, after one more year in college, will he be better than Mendoza? With one more year of season, will he be better than Mendoza? And you have, like I said, you have so many quarterbacks coming out. He has to be better than all of them because these are his contemporaries. These are the guys he's going to play against for the next 10 years. And if he can't beat them and you pick the wrong guy, we've seen quarterback decisions set your franchise back. If you're not 100% sure, take it next year. That's my point.
That makes no sense. What is the guarantee that you're going to be that bad next year that you're going to get the number one?
You don't have a quarterback.
So you think as an NFL franchise that has Brock Bowers, Genty, they have other players who want to win. You went out and hired a new coach, you just brought him in. You think they just going to all say, you know what?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. No, I'm not
saying that. I think he's saying, like, as long as you top 10 and losing.
But correct. You're not necessarily going to get one of those top quarterbacks unless you get 1 or 2.
But if you trade for the Jets pick, do you think the Jets will be just as bad next year? You have that first round pick next year. If you trade Mason Crosby to Washington, to Detroit, to Chicago, do you think you can get a top 16 pick? Max Crosby. I'm sorry. You think you could get a top 16 pick, and you could take that with your pick and trade up? You have.
I mean, so to what Calvin's saying is that if you trade out this first round, if this number one pick, you can get maybe a couple first rounders from that, and then now you trade Max, you can get like 7 to 8 first rounders in this particular draft. Is that not tempting if you're a franchise?
No,
and then you can go ahead and get a Kirk Cousins for a year. I'm not saying you go ahead and you intentionally try to tank. You're high on Kirk Cousins than anyone else. You don't think Kirk Cousins in that offense with those weapons, he can at least get 6-7 wins and build upon and add to Brock Bowers, have him be better next year. Add to Alshon, to Gentry as well. Anybody playing quarterback will be better than Geno was last year.
But that's not the point. The point is you have the number one pick and a high prospect who's on the table right now. Okay. I think the thing with you is you don't think that this quarterback is good.
I don't think he's better than if I'm adding together this quarterback class and next year's class. No, I don't think he's the best.
And the problem is, I think you're overestimating next year's quarterback class because you were high on Arch Manning coming into this year.
I'm high on Dante Moore more than anyone else right now.
What did you see out of Dante Moore that made you that high? I watched a lot of Dante Moore.
What did you see on Mendoza?
Mendoza was great all year. He's athletic.
He's better than everyone else next year.
Huh? What do you mean? I just told you, Dante Moore. You talking about
Dante
talent.
Moore is athletic, is big, has a strong arm, and he's going to play one more year in a spread offense in which he can couple that and play and bring that into the league.
Let me ask you.
That's all I'm saying.
Let me ask you a question. Could Dante Moore come out this year?
Yes.
Why didn't he?
He wasn't going to be number one pick.
He wasn't good enough. That's the bottom line.
Well, I'll say this. He didn't want to go. He didn't want to go to the Jets. I'll say that.
At the end of the day, if he was better than Mendoza, he'd have came out this year. But he ain't. So that's the point. So why would I wait another year for somebody who's less than what's available right now? The guy that
I'm saying one more year. In one more year, will he be better than Mendoza was coming out this year? We don't know that. Well, in one more year, will Arch Manning be better than Mendoza was this year? We don't know that. In one more year, will Sellers be better than Mendoza was this year? We don't know that. All I'm saying is, if you are not sold on Mendoza 100%, don't take him. That's all I'm saying. If you sold on him, it's no question.
This is all I'm gonna say. They were all on equal footing as prospects. They all had an opportunity. They were all whatever after this past season. There's no rule to say none of them couldn't have been gone into the NFL draft.
Yeah, a couple
and been the best prospect. So if Dante Moore looked at it and said, "I'm not better than that guy. I'm going back to college." Arch Manning, who everybody was telling us before last year, oh, he's can't miss. And then week after week, we watched him look like trash. And now I'm supposed to say Mendoza, who we all, not just the national title game, I'm talking about every week.
Did he have the best team in college football last year?
Hold up. Let me ask you a question. And I hate when people say this. Who was taking Indiana before this season started? Who?
Kirk Cignetti was taking that team.
Kirk Cignetti's the coach. Now I'm talking about what expert did you follow? Because I follow college football really close. Said Indiana's winning the national title game, and
there were multiple experts that had them winning the Big Ten. Did they have them better than Alabama? Did they have them better than Georgia? No, and not at the beginning of the year.
And
but did they have them winning the Big Ten?
Mendoza being the number one quarterback in all of college football. Nobody, because everybody was on that Arch Manning, Dante Moore. Even going into October, people was talking about Dante Moore. Why is he going back to college? Because he wants to be and not in the same draft.
He doesn't want to go to the Jets.
He doesn't want to be in the same draft as Mendoza because he can go to the Raiders if he was better. If the Raiders thought he was better than Mendoza, he'd be coming out. That's just the bottom line. Again, I'm not saying that it's not smart to get multiple players but when you at the key position, if you have a person that people have identified as a generational talent, or I'm not even gonna put that label on that young man, he's a young man, but somebody who can lead your team, and you have the running back, you have the tight end. If Brock Bowers the defensive end, Max Crosby don't want to be there, you trade him. Then you go get the wide receiver. Then you go get the other pieces to go around him, because I still don't know who he throwing to on the outside like that. So, yeah, those are things they really need to answer. But as far as the quarterback portion, why would I take another year? I just don't see it.
If you don't believe in him, that's my only thing. If you think he's the best quarterback, then fine, there's no question. But I'm saying if you have questions, you have options. And missing at quarterback sets your franchises back. There's no way to miss at quarterback and contend
We've
in
seen
the
people
NFL.
do it. We've seen people do it. People have missed that quarterback, and
they missed that quarterback, and if you have a backup, you didn't miss a quarterback. if you're Russell Wilson getting drafted and then they sign Hasselbeck, they didn't miss a quarterback. They still have Russell Wilson, who took him to the NFC Championship game his first year. They didn't miss.
But you're saying if they don't take, they still should go out and sign a veteran to back up Mendoza. They still should go get somebody. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I'm saying I don't throw a year away.
I'm not saying throw a year. I'm not
Patrick
saying
Mahomes is not going to be 100% coming in.
I'm not saying throwing a year away. I think that's the thing. I'm not saying throw a year away.
Up for grabs. Denver, they beatable. I mean, the defense is good, but you got to compete in that AFC West. I don't think you delay it another year, especially when you got some people whose contracts is coming up soon. Anyway, that's just my thought. I hear what you're saying, but clearly you don't think Mendoza is an NFL starting quarterback. Right or wrong? Because I want you on the record.
I didn't say that. I think that there are quarterbacks that will be drafted next year that will have a better pro career than him. I'll say it like that.
So is Mendoza a starting NFL quarterback?
Yes.
Nobody's taking the Raiders to go to the Super Bowl next year. That's not the expectation. Can he build with this team? That's all the point is.
He's a starting quarterback.
You just don't want to miss. You don't want to go out there and miss. Justin?
He's a starter. I don't think there's a question behind that. I'm not 100% on board with what Calvin is saying, but I understand what he's saying. I can say that. Yeah, it's not too many times where you got like he's not like the prospect Georgia, right? When the quarterback won, he won like back-to-back years or whatever. Like he's not him. You know, he's talented. Mendoza is very. When Georgia,
he went to the Rams. I can't think his name. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's not him. So he's talented. He is that guy. And I think he is in a group with everybody else. I think that's true. But that's when franchises, that's when systems and things of that nature. Stetson Bennett. There you go.
Oh my God, Stetson Bennett was never going to be no NFL quarterback.
I'm just saying that now he's the true result of the team. That's what I'm saying. Like that's
yes. Okay,
that's the current picture when it comes to that. But no, Mendoza is legit, and like I said, like he's going to be in a grouping with other quarterbacks. And what situation is the best situation for him to utilize his potential? Mm-hmm. And I think when you have the Raiders, when you got someone like a Brock Bowers there, when you have someone like a Gentry in the backfield, like you really have the best friends that you need. So all they really needs to do is work on their offensive line, and then like okay, he'll be putting up stats. So I think he's going to be a winning quarterback. Franchise, who knows? But I think he's going to be a winning quarterback enough. Whereas though, all right, they are not. I guess they'll be respectable, and that's all you. That's all you want. Give us a chance to be respectable, and then we can see what's happening in the playoffs.
Well, to that point, if that was this stellar left tackle in this draft, or you know what I mean, like a left tackle that was can't miss, yeah, I might consider trading back a couple spots, taking the left tackle, and then going quarterback next year because you do need that. You know what I mean? Yeah. You do need the line, but I don't see that as any top prospects coming out. But that would be the only because you got the tight end, you got the running back. If it was a standout offensive lineman where you like, we could take them at 2 or 3 and be fine, and then next year go get the quarterback. That might be something to look at.
But I guess my other point is when you look at when people say who's the best player in the draft position aside, Mendoza's like the second or third name that comes up. It's the Love, the running back from Notre Dame, is Caleb Downs from Ohio State. They have them as better football players than Mendoza. So he's not even the best football player in this draft. Like,
how many times have we seen that though, Calvin? A lot of times a DN or somebody who's
I don't recall hearing his last year with Cam Ward.
Jumps off the page.
I don't recall hearing his last year with Cam Ward. Just to use as an example.
Here's the thing about Cam Ward. I love Cam Ward. Great college football player. And I think he'll develop into a great quarterback. If you put Cam Ward in this draft, does he go number 1?
It's a good question.
That's the question. So Cam Ward might have been a product of.
If you put Mendoza next year's draft, does he go number 1?
Yeah, hold on,
I think he goes to that 1 again next year.
Hold on now. Now that you said that, and I got to say something now. Now, if you put Cam Ward on that Miami team, they beat Indiana. I truly believe that. And now, yes, you would have a argument. Yeah, who's number one? It'll be Cam Ward because he had that team. That team was stellar. He didn't have that Miami team the year before.
No, I'm not disagreeing that. But the point is what we saw in college from Cam Ward and what we saw in Tennessee from Cam Ward, a little different. And again, that's rookie. But I think we've gotten spoiled by some of these quarterbacks coming straight from college and coming right into the league and just playing bonkers in their first 1 or 2 years, like the year before with Jaden Daniels and these other guys will just come right in and they show us why they was drafted so high. We didn't see that from Cam Ward, and that could be the environment, that could be the coaching. That we'll see. He got day ball this year coming, but I'm saying from a just look what you can give Cincinnati the credit for what he did in Indiana, but I'm gonna say a lot of what he did, if you actually watched it, was lean on the ability of the quarterback. It wasn't like they had this running game that was just so stellar. Like, no, the quarterback was the playmaker. So I think that was part of his biggest thing. And the defense was solid, but they weren't like no knockout Michigan defense or nothing like that. They had the quarterback. I mean, that was their strength. Go back and watch. Anyway, we spent a lot on that. But I do think it's an interesting question. I'm not debating that. And as the draft comes closer, if somebody offers a mega package or something like that, like let me ask you this question. For everything that we know now about Kyler Murray, would you take a Kyler Murray as your starting quarterback?
If I'm the Raiders?
If you any team right now at the top of that draft where you could afford to plug in a Kyler Murray and trade your pick out for more assets and just run with Kyler Murray at the top instead of drafting a quarterback, would you do it? Or do you think Kyler Murray is his ship has sailed? Justin, let's start with you. Let Calvin think for a second.
Oh man, I started to chuckle because he was thinking like he had that look on his face. I truly think that this is an indictment on Kyler, man. Like, I hate to say it, man. Like, some of the stuff you brought this on yourself, homeboy, and this is the the beer that you got to lie in. So to answer your question, I'd rather start fresh with the unknown than to having to change my whole game plan for someone that's not Lamar Jackson. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if he got to scramble, he got to do this, he got to roll out the pocket and all this other stuff. Well, give me the best at it. If I can't get the best at it, then I'm not doing it for someone that's a little bit above Justin's field.
What you think, Calvin?
At the top of the draft, no.
Okay.
Because he's not the quarterback that I want to sit on the bench behind my rookie.
You're not gonna learn that from him.
Not that, but I think if my rookie struggles, he's the guy that people start clamoring for, and all of a sudden he makes a couple splash plays. Then it's a quarterback controversy when it's not really one. He can be electric one game against a bad defense, and I don't need that from my rookie quarterback if that's who I want to build my future around.
It's a good point. Good point. See, my thing is how much of Kyler Murray's struggle is attached to the coach.
I mean, we saw
Cliff Kingsbury was there.
What's the backup quarterback's name? Jacoby Brissett. We saw him look good in a couple games.
We seen Kyler look good in a couple games.
Not last year.
Kyler also had injuries. I think that is his biggest issue.
I think someone like him is always going to have to battle that. Because someone like him is better improvising than following a structured offense. So when that's what you kind of have to do, that's why I kind of mentioned Justin Fields. I didn't necessarily want to throw that name out there, but he's better when he's on the run. He's better when he's making plays and stuff like that. And then as soon as you get him in behind the pocket, that's when the inaccuracy comes. Kyler is better when he can see down the field. He can see what's going on. But when you're that short, and there's no short jokes here, but when you're that short, you have to find angles in order to throw the ball, which for him, unlike, let's say, Drew Brees will find the right angle and he can zip it there. He has to kind of move around to find the right angle. If he's already on the move, well, guess what he's going to do? He's going to be even more shifty to try to get an extra chunk yardage or whatever the case. And we see the downfall of that. So you can't necessarily run the offense behind that. And it's not working. I wouldn't try this now. Not for him.
I think the right offensive coordinator could still get something out of Kyler Murray. I really think so.
That's true.
I think if he was like in, I heard
It's
you.
not
I hear
worth it,
you
is what I'm saying.
about the backup thing. About if he comes in and plays a little better, the crowd
He
gonna be
can't.
like,
He cannot be. He
put him
cannot
in.
be a backup to a rookie. No way. No way.
That rookie will be stunted. I mean, could he take JJ McCarthy's job?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes. Is he a true upgrade? Yes, he could.
Yes.
He could.
Well,
he can get the ball to JJ.
JJ, that's the thing.
Yeah.
He can do that. Yeah,
He can do it.
So now
Could he
you
go to
got to have a
Pittsburgh?
special receiver, right? So that we got to add stuff. Now you need a special receiver for him to be marginally better than everybody.
he had D-Hop in the second part of his prime. He was just really throwing up to him too.
Yeah, that's true. And he started his career with Larry Fitz, didn't he? Was Fitz there?
I didn't think Fitz was there.
I feel like he was there.
Okay, but anyway,
he might have been there because this was like 2019, 2018 around.
Right.
It was a year after Lamar because they drafted Rose and then they drafted Kyler Murray, so it was 2019.
We'll look at that, but I'm just saying I don't think. See, this is what pisses me off about the NFL sometimes. You get some of these white quarterbacks and guys. We keep it real here and get up damn fence that they get 2, 3, 4, 5 chances. They call them journeymen. They always available to be a backup, But you get a talent like a Kyler Murray, and you hear we say, "Oh, he can't be a backup." You know what I mean? He will stunt it. I think everybody's owed the opportunity for a second chance, and I don't think Kyler should be just cast to the side and said that, "Oh, he can't grow from it. He can't get better. He can't adapt." Like if you faced with I'm $100 million or $200, $300 million quarterback, and I want to be a starter, and I'm the man, and Yeah, there's a certain level of divaism or cachet that comes with that. But once you've been humbled and broken down, and you facing that, you might not even be in the league. Maybe your attitude changes. Maybe you do become more humble. Maybe you do some things that early in your career when you thought you was the shit, you might not do now. So I'm not going to give the guy up and say that he can adapt. We saw Justin Fields. I didn't think Justin Fields took advantage of the opportunity in New York. I thought he wasn't bad in Pittsburgh, you know what I mean, until the injury happened. I think also he was battling with Russ, so it kind of stunted what he could have done there. But I just don't think you give up on a Kyler Murray when we see him be electric. We see him have some zip to his arm. I get the height thing, but I do think that some of our more athletic quarterbacks are going to start to get put into this box where, if you're a speed guy, if you're a guy who relies on athleticism, you won't get 2 and 3 chances, whatever like that. When early in our life, we saw Cordell Stewart go to Baltimore. We see him go to the Saints. We seen him, different teams after Pittsburgh where he was able to be an asset. You know what I mean? It can happen. It just takes the right offensive coordinator to utilize these guys and give them a chance. Look what Daniel Jones did last year. A lot of that was using his athleticism. I don't care what nobody say. He wasn't just a drop back passer. You know what I mean? So it is possible. He got hurt too. But it's possible, damn it. What's your thoughts, Calvin?
So Fitzgerald was there in 2019. So that must have been his last year. Look, I think he deserves another chance. I think, there are spots, Minnesota, maybe Atlanta, if Michael Penix isn't back or will be back midseason since they're going to cut Kirk Cousins. He deserves another chance. And I think he can respond well in the new system. You put him with a Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota, who's an offensive guru. Let's see what he can do. You put him with the arguably the best receiver in the league with a great offense. Another receiver on the other end as well. So I don't know if Pittsburgh's the right answer. I think they need to restart a quarterback for the first time, which is why I thought they should have went younger at head coach and not McCarthy. But it seems like they're still trying to win, which I don't know what you can do. If you can do that with, a rotating door at quarterback, it seems like since Ben Roethlisberger has retired. But I think Kyler Murray deserves another chance. I think he gets another chance. I think Minnesota's a perfect opportunity because they're not hiring J.J. McCarthy, and he's still tied to them for another year or two. You could bring Murray in on the cheap because he's already getting paid from Arizona as well, and see if you can pull a Sam Darnold in Seattle and revive his career. So I think he gets another chance. I think he just has to be in the right system. I think this is the most important decision of his football career, picking his next stop, because he can pick where he wants to go. I think Minnesota's the best choice for him to start and to play well. And you're playing in the dome. You don't have to worry about the weather, similar in Arizona. It's a tough division, but you arguably have the best defense and the best receivers, and the best head coach. So you're head of the stick right there.
So I think real quick, the issue with Kyler, it wasn't the injuries, it wasn't the playmaking ability or lack thereof at times. It was simply one thing which stamped him like the scarlet letter. The fact that he did not know the playbook, the fact that they don't think that he's taking it serious. You know what that reminded? You know what that reminded the whole league about?
And
it was I was surprised you said that. I was going to go another number one pick in Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah,
it leads straight to that. Like
Jamarcus Russell was fat and out of shape. Like that didn't help.
Look at the playbook either. You know what I'm saying? So he has to beat that stigma. And that means you gotta be like, you gotta be the company guy. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. You gotta show up for OTAs wherever he lands up next. Like he has to get that moniker off his back. And then you'll start to see more and more people say, "Okay, I'll give Kyler a chance." Those other quarterbacks that gets the retread, they don't have that sticker on them. They don't have that stigma on them.
But they try to put that on our people. You know what I mean?
He wasn't doing it though. Like it is what it is. It was in your contract.
He can grow from it.
They put it in his contract, bro. Like how embarrassing that was.
Yeah.
I get it.
Like you know what I'm saying. So if he not had that, he'd be totally fine. You know what I'm saying? But if you ask me if I got Kyler Murray and Malik Willis, I'm gonna go ahead and give Malik Willis a shot.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
I think he's the hottest prospect at quarterback right now. But
it's just he got to get it out the gutter right now. It is what it is.
Who y'all think Malik should sign with right now? I think Pittsburgh.
I'll go Minnesota. Make it easy for him.
Pittsburgh
in the division. I think Pittsburgh. I think it makes sense.
I think Kyler's cheaper though. That's the only reason Will's trying to get a payday.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get paid.
Yeah,
he's gonna get paid.
Kyler's cheaper, at least for this year, upcoming year.
Yeah. What y'all think about Kansas City trading McDuffie out there to
that was the worst kept secret. You heard about that 2 months ago. They want to trade that.
They like breed cornerbacks, though. They don't really care. Like they get rid of everybody. Marcus Peters, everybody like come through there. They just
the guy with Jarius Sneed.
Yeah, Sneed.
Yeah.
Tyrann Matthews.
Because they value their line. So this is the thing. Chris Jones was the one that was kind of making it easier and making those people, disposable.
It was them blitz packages, man.
That's true, but we're not going to act like Chris Jones ain't having something to do with it at the same time,
good.
Too.
Yeah.
But he's diminishing though. He's not the same guy. So maybe it could catch up with him. Maybe it starts now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I just think it's going to be an interesting look at the AFC West because the Chargers losing people. I sent you all something the other day. Did you all see it? The NFL came out. They didn't
the report card.
Put it out. It got leaked because it's supposed to be private now because they sued the NFLPA sued about the players at the end of the season. They vote on, the report card for that team. Like you rate, the facility, your training facility, the head coach, general manager, the owner, all that good stuff. And the number one rated team in the NFL was the Miami Dolphins. So does that hurt the credibility of the entire process when the Miami Dolphins, whose coach was just fired, mind you, who quarterback was benched and probably about to get cut, who didn't make the playoffs, you play in Miami. I get that part, but they rated pretty high in a lot of those areas. And then you got the Denver Broncos who made the AFC Championship game and had a pretty successful year, and they rated their coach rough. They rated like a lot of stuff. It was wild if you take a look at it. I'm gonna break it down in the slides in the future, but did y'all take a look? What you think, Cal?
But even with Denver being rated so low, that's still, I think the overall rank was still top 10.
Yeah,
So it's like, I mean, like it was. They had some low areas. I think they had the worst locker room, which I thought was found surprising. Because I thought but they're getting a new stadium too. So that could.
I think Sean Payton was like a C plus, something like that. But then you got Dan Quinn for the Washington Commanders was an A plus up there with
player friendly coach. Player friendly coach.
Yeah.
Let you do that. Yeah. That was great. But even still, look, didn't Harbaugh get an A?
No,
the coaches.
Harbaugh got a B.
He got a B. Okay.
He got a B. Yeah.
Okay.
But McVay got an A plus, and Dan Quinn got an A plus of all the coaches in the league. But then, I mean, the facility part is interesting, and strength and conditioning. The Ravens didn't rank well. They didn't rank well.
They ranked better than they did. They ranked better than they did a couple years ago. So they're trending in the right direction.
Yeah. Offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. Actually, they didn't rank the defensive coordinator that bad at all. And
they get along with them. They just couldn't execute.
So that's why. So the players ain't do your job. All right. But I just found it fascinating. Justin, did you look at the report card? What did you see from your Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
We weren't bad. I think in this situation, you just don't want to be last in a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be last in facility. You don't want to be last in training. Those are the things. You don't have to. You don't have to be number one. And by no means. That's like the difference between whether you want watermelon, you want cantaloupe. Like I'm getting a melon either way. Like I don't need to be number one. However, don't tell me I got the worst facility. You know what I'm saying? That, especially as a billionaire, a lot of these dudes, they take, it's a prideful thing, and they use this as their toy in a sense that, it's just, you know what it is. So you going to tell me that my training staff, my facility, my locker room is the bottom third? No, hell, wait a second. So now I got to go into these business, these little these rooms and things with the other owners and stuff, and they was like, "Oh yeah, I heard you running a shit show over there." wait a second. So it's their ego, I think, gets hit a little bit too, if they care, just a little bit. So I definitely think that should be something they should work on. But you don't have to strive to be number one in this particular field. But either way,
some of them areas though,
the worst,
you don't
it's still like better than what it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Not the Pittsburgh Steelers. You see, they got an F grade for their treatment of families. Like, that's not good for free agency. That's not good.
That's not good for free agency. You know what? That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Just the outlook of not having accommodations when it comes to your people. Why would I go there when everybody in the NFL has a family? Like everybody got having kids in the NFL. So
Cincinnati Bengals,
that's a good
F
point.
minus for treatment of families.
So you can't be F minus. I'll say you cannot be last.
Food and dining, F minus. Nutritionists and dietitians,
ownership,
F.
D.
Yo, that's crazy. Yo, who would want to go play there? And you got one of the most high-powered, explosive offenses in the league, and you got Joe Burrow on camera talking about he don't know if he want to play no more. They might be contributing to it. Look at this mess, man. That's terrible. Like, Cleveland Browns, treatment of families, D minus. Like, F for the locker room. They got a terrible facility. Like, that's bad.
They're trying to get a new stadium, too.
Yeah, and that could speak to that. But, the one that surprised me was Dallas Cowboys got a D for their training room. Like, all that money he spent on that
surprised me too. Like, I don't know if that's related to the staff and you lump in the staff in the training room as well. Cause I think like the staff got a C, but that was surprising, especially in that $1 billion stadium.
That's
it seems like it has everything. So,
well, and they practice at the stadium, don't they? Or do they have a
they practice at the stadium because their training camp is in California.
Yeah, that's what. So they do. You know how Owens Mills is separate from the Raven Stadium.
Yeah.
So down there they actually practice it because I know they be having tours in the middle, and people can actually walk and see the players while they're in the locker room, and they hate that. That could be part of it too. They don't like it.
That could be part of it as well. You're right.
Yeah.
Another thing is the fact that when you have these lists, and then now I've heard owners come out and say it's PFF. They don't know what they're talking about. They try to disagree, but you use the same type of metrics when it comes to play evaluations.
Yeah.
So don't tell me that you're gonna use it on my contract, but now I can't say, hey, look, man, this team is getting this. Can we at least get that? Oh, don't worry about that. They just made that up.
Yeah. And the Ravens added that too. The Ravens added that too, that they walk to the facility, or you can see the players on the
but you don't practice at the stadium.
Correct.
Yeah. But Kansas City kind of surprised me, but
they want a new stadium too.
They moving. They are moving. They moving a whole other state, ain't they?
They're moving to Kansas.
The state of Kansas. That kind of shocked me. But yeah, anyway, that was very interesting. It came out this week. Justin, what you got?
I'm gonna stay with football for a little bit. One, did you hear about Myles Garrett?
No.
Arrested, pulled over the 9th time since like 2020 something for speeding. 9th time in like 3 to 4 years. Going well over 100 in a 60 or whatever. It's just like I looked at it and I was just like, first and foremost, dude. He if he wasn't Myles Garrett, his ass would be in jail. It's just like, you remember Deion's son was having the same issues too, just driving recklessly Shador in Cleveland. I'm not saying it's a Cleveland thing, but at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know what Myles Garrett looks very intelligent too. Like I seen him talking to Micah Parsons. He's very witty. You know what I'm saying? Like in order to keep up with jokes and be sharp with it, that shows a sense of wittiness. And I was like, bro, you can't like not speed. Like I don't think these players, and we go through. I mean, it's year in, year out. Some tragedies, some not. It's just I don't understand that these players they don't value what it is that they have, especially when it was God given. So, what's your thoughts about that, real quick?
Man, that's ridiculous because it says that he had a bad crash in 2022. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, y'all make enough money, and we've heard this a million times. Y'all can get a driver. I know you like the thrill of driving yourself. Go run out a racetrack. Like, if you want to go fast, y'all got enough connections where you can go get on a speedway and have all the fun you want with the right helmet and protection. Like, that's ridiculous. Look, I got a left foot. I've been accused of it myself. So I get it. You can go a little fast at times, but bruh, you were speed racing. You weren't you know what I mean, just moving along casually. And you buy certain vehicles because you want to go fast. Let's be honest. So it's not like he didn't know. I didn't know I was going that fast. I know you got a big leg, big foot. You tap the gas, you're going fast. You know what I mean? So I man, not a good sign, man. Not a good sign, Calvin.
No, the fact that you've had 9 and then you had that speeding accident, and if this is how your way of getting out of Cleveland, fine. But you was wasting a lot of money. You get pulled over a lot of times.
That's gonna get you out of life.
Yeah.
Second thing, when we were talking about the combine and the college situation, the combine gave us 2 brothers, the Styles brothers, Ohio State. One is 6'5", 240, ran a 4.3. The other one ran like a 4.2. What do y'all value the combine when it comes to actually making the grade on the field? Is it a situation where, because people saw those stats and was like, oh my God, like I gotta draft him now? Or is it like I need to see what's on film, or does that trump film from time to time? I'll give you this one caveat before I turn it over. Sometimes the combine, certain videos go viral, and it gives you a lens of someone that you might not even be looking at. Why do I say that? There was a guy that was a lineman that jumped out the water to the surface and out of a pool. That guy's Tristan Wirfs that plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's our best lineman since he got into the league. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it works, most of the time it doesn't. What y'all thoughts?
I think the combine should confirm what you already seen on tape. I think the problem is a lot of the best players, they opt not even to go and to participate anymore, and they just do their own personal pro day or personal workout where you come and see them. So it's kind of devalued. So now the combine, not devalued, I'm not going to say that, because teams like the Ravens, the really good teams, they make their money on day 2. they make their money in round 3 and up. You know what I mean? Where that's where the combine comes into play. Those players is going to go in round 3, 4, 5 that you might not be looking at from the SEC or the Big Ten that you see from these other schools. You might not have that tape right at the tip of your fingers, but they perform at the combine. Now you're going to go and comb that tape a little bit more. Now you're going to seek out that film. Not that they don't do their homework, but the Ravens do an excellent job, their scouting department, of looking at all these alternative schools and these lower level Division II schools and these schools are not necessarily your Alabamas and your Georgias, and that's the combine. Like you say, you saw that video of Tristan Wirfs jumping out the pool, but that might be a guy at South Alabama that never is on national TV, and then you see him do something at the combine. Now you're gonna go request film for, let's see what he did throughout the season, and then now he's on the draft list, and now he turns into a 10-year defensive tackle for the Baltimore Ravens, who nobody knew his name before, but now he's been a household name for us. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's happened multiple times with the Ravens. So, Calvin,
I agree with everything you said, and I'll add, with the combine, and like you said, you can choose what to do and what not to do. Like Mendoza chose not to throw. He's going to throw it his pro day. But the combine, in my opinion, is an open book test. You know what you're going to do based off your position. You know you're going to run the 40. You know you're going to run the shuttle. So you should be able to pass those with flying colors. And then if you don't want to run your route, you don't want to throw, you don't have to. But you should be able to pass a 40. And what I mean by pass the 40 is you should run your best time in that 40. You should just train just for that. The combine just lets me know that you could just train just for that. And I'm going to go look at the tape and see what you're actually doing on the football field. But you should be prepared for the combine in a way that you're going to perform your best. Yeah, you know what you're going to do. And you've had nothing but time to train for 2-3 months. But once I know that you can do that, you can prepare for this, I'm going to go back and look at the tape. But if you have a poor performance in the combine, now I start to wonder, what are you doing in your personal time? You've had 3 months by yourself. Why aren't you in your best shape of your life right now? I'm not saying it's all that matters, but I'm saying it tells me what you can. It tells me what you're going to do during the offseason. Are you going to prepare and you're going to be at your absolute best?
If you are the father of Mendoza or his agent, do you tell him to sit out and then go to pro day, or do you tell him to do both?
No, you don't. No, he sits out and does the pro day. It's not, especially with him being the only quarterback projected in the first round. Why? If I can't, you control everything you can control. So I'm gonna go throw to my receivers where I'm comfortable at. I'm going to have you show up. I'm going to do what I do instead of going to the combine and throwing to different receivers who run different routes, who make different cuts, and potentially make me look bad because of what they're doing now. I control everything. Control. Yeah.
Only thing you can do is give somebody a negative thing on tape. They're like,
I'm gonna control everything I can.
I think the combine is an open job interview. It's one of those things like you get those things where they have a job fair and there's a lot of people at one place at one time, so you got an opportunity to make a name for yourself. If you are a low level or mid-tier guy and you're trying to get into the top 10, or you're a top 30 guy, you're trying to get into the top 15, that's what the combine is for. And again, you could be like Calvin, you made the point earlier. Mendoza is not the best athlete in this draft. All right. You got a defensive lineman who, if they showed themselves to be, no, we got to take him. You have now shot up from 5 to 2. Or if somebody, like you say, maybe you do think about, maybe we can trade Mendoza, that number 1 pick, and we need the D tackle. We need the D end, or we need the left tackle. If you got a lineman who out there shuffling his feet and showing you all the skills and can run the tires and can do everything at a level that he jumps off the tape. Again, that's what the combine is for. And I used to watch the combine, man. When we was back in high school and middle school, I used to sit there because NFL Network used to play. I used to watch that thing. I was a football nut. And take notes. And
you're not the only one. I still go to the gym and I start out bench pressing 225. And it's just how many am I a DB today or am I a linebacker today? It depends. Am I a lineman today? Yeah. So you're not the only one.
But that was the greatest invention ever when NFL Network came out. And they started broadcasting the combine because you couldn't watch it before. Yeah. And it was like, wow.
Quarterbacks, running back day, wide receiver day, DB. Yeah.
Man. Man,
Yeah.
Charles Butler, they just sit there going through everybody's tape. Man, I watch all them drills.
Was it Rich Eisen was hosting in a couple years?
He after a
Looks
while,
like it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Rich got there, but at the beginning, man, that was the best. It was like 2000, 2001. Anyway, crazy. Anyway, good stuff. For me, I want to get into some NBA because look, we're getting down the stretch here, and these conversations have been heating up about Jason Tatum. Should he come back? Should he play? We saw Boston get beat tonight by Charlotte. Charlotte been coming on strong here lately. Charlotte putting something together if you've been paying attention. And it ain't just, the household names. They putting a little run together, and they beat Boston tonight, made them look human. I think Tatum should come back. And I know that a video came out from something that he filmed last year, like maybe I think they said 6 weeks after he initially got hurt.
The doctor's office.
Yeah. And he said he ain't coming back to be no role player. And people that just got released like last week. So people heard that and said, oh, he ain't coming back. He want to be forced his way into the starting lineup. And they're like, no, that's how he thought, meaning like to motivate himself. I'm gonna do everything I need to do, heal up as long as it takes. I'm not coming back to being a role player. I'm coming back to be who I was, a star player in this league. But I do think you can find a place for Jason Tatum in the rotation. I don't think he needs to start, but I think this Boston team, the way the East is shaping up, Detroit, they look good. Not taking nothing away from them. But I think outside of Detroit, New York, who you really definitively can say is going to beat Boston in a 7-game series if you got Tatum giving you some rotation minutes and the team playing the way they've been playing all year. Yeah, you can make an argument like Charlotte's coming on, Atlanta's still there, Orlando's starting to find that groove a little bit. But outside of that, like Philly, we'll see what Embiid is doing. I don't know. He's been kind of in and out the lineup here lately. What's your thoughts on that perspective? We'll start with you, Calvin.
I think he should come back. I think there's this acclimation period after your injury where you're not sure of yourself. You got to get your body back. You got to get your confidence back to do the same moves that you did before your injury. And it's better to do that at the end of the season versus starting the next season when you're in contention. And they're playing so well that they can kind of overcome any short steps by him if he's not 100% comfortable performing some of those moves. I don't think that they can make the finals. I think they need a healthy Jason Tatum. And if your plan is to get a healthy Jason Tatum, I think you need Jason Tatum's going to play 35, 40 minutes. I don't know if you can do that. He's supposed to play Friday. I don't know if you could do that in the last 5 weeks of the season and get him ready for playoff basketball, which is different than regular season basketball. So I do think he should come back if he's 100% healthy and he's ready to go. I do think there'll be a little period where he's just not sure of himself. But I don't think with this Jason Tatum, unless he just comes back like Adrian Peterson, when 2020 when he tore his ACL, didn't miss a step. I don't think they make the playoff or they make the finals because of a Knicks team that can now guard him if he's not at his physical peak because of a Detroit team that's been playing well all year long. But I do think he should come back if he's healthy. I think with him, pushing his rehab so hard and him just getting in mind for him to come back, I think he should. I just think we need to temper our expectations to what we expect from him when he does come back. You can't expect Tatum scoring 30, playing 35 minutes. You have to understand that he's gonna have some lulls in his game. He hasn't played basketball in damn near a year. Practicing playing 5-on-5 is not the same as playing NBA basketball, and then taking it to the playoffs, taking it up another notch. So he won't be that player, but he does need to come back if he's healthy. I agree.
What you think, Justin?
If he can't injure himself more, then let him come back. And that to me, it's as simple as that. If you're healthy, and I'm not talking about 75, 85, I need 100%. You just rusty. Then go out there. The thing is, I agree. I love the fact that he said that. At any time during the surgery, at any time during his rehab or anything, you're not coming back as a role player. Good, you should feel like that.
That's the mentality.
My question is, what is Jaylen Brown thinking? That's the number one thing. Is he a Scottie Pippen or is he an alpha? That's the thing. And it's no shot to Scottie, but Scottie did come back and let Jordan take the lead again. When you were the one that was there.
Did he let him?
Hey man, hey, you had to pass in the ball. You could have shot it. You could have shot more. It should have been, that could have been said in The Last Dance. But I think that's the issue here. And I don't think Jalen's going to let this go. Period. I mean, leading into next year and so on and so forth. I got him saying more things like, "Yeah, this is my team," and so on and so forth. I think even if it's a slip of the tongue, pause, I think he's going to say certain things of that nature, and it's just apropos. Let's have some friction. Let's have some let's get a little drama here. And who's the team, because he's the one with the Finals MVP. You know what I'm saying? Everyone thought we was down and out. We number 2 in the division, in the conference. So I do agree with that. But if Tatum's healthy, let him play. I think he might try to overdo it to get that spot back, and I think that might lead into his downfall. But you mentioned Charlotte. I just want to show some love to Charlotte, because not only did they win tonight, they like 6-2 or whatever since the break. And Calvin said it in passing. You know how good of a season that you have to have a better rookie season than the number one guy, Cooper Flag. Like, when you're that good, I'm talking about Cooper Flag, that is, when you got all the hype and stuff, you just gotta have like an average season, and they give you the trophy. Here, take it. You did good enough. Khan is a great guy, is a great shooter. He's smashing the 3-point record as a rookie. Like, he's him. And then you look at his running mates. I mean, LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller are also like top 10 in three-pointers made. Like, they are shooting lights out. And now it's like Melo's not doing the dumb stuff to lose.
Thank you.
It's that's like, I got partners now. The things that I do is now being highlighted. Because Golden State Warriors should have drafted you. But we are where we are now. And we might see Charlotte in the playoffs, and that's a rare thing. I can't remember the last time they was in the playoff. What, Kimba? Maybe when they was the Bobcats, maybe. You know what I'm saying? So that's a while. So shout out to Charlotte.
Yeah. Sticking to the East, what do y'all think about Cleveland? I thought James Harden had the little issue with his hand, but he seems to have come back and been playing well despite that. I know I left them out earlier. I think that could be the team if they continue to gel the way they've been gelling. I don't know. Defensively, I'm still not sold. But offensively, they can score with anybody. Yeah. They can score with anybody. Right now, I think they're sitting at the 4 spot. Yeah, they had the 4.
Yeah, 4. Yeah,
comfortably. Toronto not far behind. So if they had to get the play-in winner, it would be for Miami. They don't want to see Charlotte. They do not want to see Charlotte. I think their best bet would be Orlando. Philly, Philly at that 6th spot. If Embiid, I think they kind of slowed him down a little bit. Being cautious, getting him ready, saving for the playoffs, because he was on the tear for a while there.
And then he tore something.
I think it's going to be interesting coming down the stretch, but I wouldn't want to be in that 4 or 5 matchup. I wouldn't. Cleveland, if Cleveland is there, I'm avoiding that matchup. New York, y'all better stay away. Hey, y'all only a game up. I think you want to play Toronto. What's your thoughts on that, Justin?
First and foremost, I don't like the way you said my name like that.
You don't want
to. Secondly, I'm just going to show some love to Cleveland for the regular season versus the postseason. The regular season, Cleveland's great. For the regular season, Cleveland's going to be. They might jump up. They might jump up to the top 2. So it's within their reach to get. My problem is the postseason, and this is not a Donovan McNabb hate because McNabb. Wow, Donovan Mitchell. Some of the performances in the playoffs. No, it's not. Shout out to Donovan Mitchell. Shout out to Coco Jones too. But when it comes to Cleveland, it's James Harden, and they have to be prepared. I yelled this, and I would keep yelling it. He will drop his points per game average, and you have to find a way to deal with that. Can they do that? So when you want James Harden to be the James Harden in the regular season, average this and average that, and put on a show, he will not. He will not, and it's not his fault no more. It's no longer his fault because he is who he is. He's been like that since OKC made that run to the finals, and he didn't perform in the finals. It wasn't, KD performed, Russ performed. He didn't. So it's the same James Harden. It's just an older version. So, Donovan, you're going to have to upgrade your scoring. The bigs that they have, Mobley, Allen, y'all going to have to perform very well and do that. And that's the thing. So if you're telling me that they know that now and they can manage that storm and they can keep going, then Cleveland's a dangerous team. If not, they will be out in the first round.
I think it's unfair, but go ahead, Calvin. You go first.
I had to check real quick because I know Cleveland beat Detroit without Donovan Mitchell, and I knew the Pistons played, but both teams won a back-to-back, so they equal rest. I think Cleveland's dangerous. If you tell me I don't have to rely on Harden to score,
exactly.
But he's going to get Mobley and Jared Allen great looks at the basket, and they're going to shoot 60% and score 15, 20 points and get 20 rebounds combined. That's dangerous because I'm not relying on Harden to, I need you to score, I need you to put up buckets, and you shoot 3 for 20. That's Donovan's job. Yep. Donovan, and then I got I have a bench with Schroeder. I got a bench with Brian, not Bryant, Porter Jr. as well. Like they could put up some points. I think they're dangerous, and I think they play Boston. I think Sunday afternoon, and then of course Tatum will most likely be back, but can't really factor that in. But if they win that game, and all of a sudden you're tied with Boston and for that 2 seed or that 3 seed, I should say, Cleveland's dangerous in my opinion. I think they right now, outside of Detroit, are the team to beat with the Harden addition because I'm not relying on Harden to score. Like I said, I'm relying on him to facilitate, get Donovan looks, and him being out there being an offensive threat is just open up the floor. Not saying you got to hit threes because we know what you can do offensively. So I like this team, and surprisingly, Harden had the broken thumb, fractured thumb, whatever it was.
He bounced back quick,
and he's still playing.
Yeah.
So I like Cleveland. I think they're the surprise team in the East, and if they can, get a matchup with Detroit, and you got the experience, hey, I like Cleveland in that matchup. And as far as Philadelphia is concerned, I know we talked about them. If you tell me in what I guess 10, 15 games, you get a Paul George back who's coming off suspension, and Embiid is going to be healthy going to the playoffs. Even if they're a 6-7 seed, you're telling me they're healthy at least for game one. I gotta give them some chance. I gotta give them a good chance to upset that whoever they play. Paul George is gonna be healthy because he hadn't played in 25 games. Maxi's doing his thing. BJ Epscomb's still growing, and Embiid's healthy as he's been going to the playoffs in the last 3 or 4 years. It's a dangerous team as well.
Yeah, I'll touch on that in a second, but I just want to emphasize. Look, I know everybody think of James Harden. You think of one of the best scorers in that stretch where he was like a bucket all the time. But if you've been paying attention to his role in Cleveland, he give you 20 every night. He ain't looking for 30. He ain't looking for 35. He give you 18 to 20, occasionally dropping 22, 24 here and there. But he's going to get you 8 assists. He's going to get you rebounds, and he playmaking. And he's setting up the big fellas, man, like Mobley, like that. Yeah. He that best friend. Yeah. Like Jared Allen and Mobley are eating with James Harden at the helm. And look, Donovan, we all know Donovan can get hot as anybody in the league when he get hot. But I think the big problem that has been happening, you cannot count on Darius Garland the last few years to be his number 2. And now Garland is not a factor. Now you got a Harden. Now, I'm not going to say that I trust Harden won't disappear again in the playoffs because there's enough evidence to support that. But I'm just saying, from not needing to be the ball handler every play, like that was the situation Donovan had himself in, where he had to get in these shootouts where he just raining threes, going to the cup. He one of the best finish at the basket players in the league, and he can do that with anybody. But it's so much better when you got a point guard who can also set you up with easy shots. And I just think, man, they played New York tough, they played Detroit tough, and those are the teams you're going to be competing with. And I think they match up. I think of San Antonio and the Cleveland Cavaliers are the two teams to me that match up the best with the Detroit Pistons. Even OKC, we haven't seen when they match up, they haven't been at full strength, so it's hard to compare. But at full strength, that Cleveland, those two big guys, they give Detroit the physicality issue that I don't think anybody else. They definitely ain't got to face that with New York because soft at look. I can't keep talking about him. I'm sorry, but I'll move on. Cleveland has what you need to get the job done. And look, man, I'm buying in, man. I'm buying in. Now with the Philly thing, what we've been saying, it come down to health, man. At the end of the day, Ken Embiid, he's shown you he still got it in him. You know what I mean? Like, unlike the guy in New York, I ain't got a question Embiid's heart. It's just can his body hold up. It is what it is, man. The man, it cost me enough money where I can do it. It's justified now. But you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, can Embiid stay healthy? That's the question. But other than that, man, I'm excited about the East. The East actually, to me, is more intriguing than the West. I'm not intrigued by the West. The East is actually intriguing. The West, I just think the question is, can San Antonio do what they did in the regular season and the postseason? That's just the bottom line. Can you beat OKC in a 7-game series? If they can do it, look, Denver took them to 7 last year. I don't think this Denver team is better than last year's Denver team. I've seen enough, and a lot of that is health concerns, and the rotation is not the way I liked it. I'm just not as confident as I was going into the year, given what I saw in last year's playoffs with this Denver team. I just don't like the bench, man. It's not as strong as it has been the last 2 years. And I thought last year was really the year. They pushed OKC to 7 games. They should have got it done. I don't know if it was just that time when Jokic was out of the lineup and they were winning, but I thought it was a lot of hero ball, and I didn't like the ball movement. I still think they missed Mike Malone. Like I don't know. It's just something about this Denver team that doesn't give me that feeling that they're going to be able to get it done. But the question is, can San Antonio do what they've been able to do in the regular season, in the postseason? And that's my only question in the West. Justin, I'll start with you.
Well,
West.
2 questions. Well, two comments. First, is it time for LeBron to go? What's all this chirping about in LA? It's a lot of hate going on in LA. They saying like it's time for LeBron to get up out of here. It's time for Luka to have his full team. Someone that gets paid as much as LeBron James, you can get more pieces for that. Austin AR is doing this thing. Maybe it's not. How do you feel about that, Calvin? Before I continue,
unless next year's your last year, it's time for you to go. And even still, I don't.
Is that a question? Like
even still,
ain't his deal up anyway? They should have traded him.
But he couldn't trade. He got no trade clause.
Okay.
Yes, to answer your question, it's time.
Cool. Second thing, I see you mentioned the Spurs. I think that was clearly Wemby was one of my preseason guys, so I'm not knocking the Spurs. Anthony Edwards been on a tear as of late. Like, I think he's really starting to hit the corner when it comes to is my team, is my show. This team goes as far as I take them, more so than what he did in previous years. And let's just take last year when he was like, I mean, he shot the most threes, probably made the most threes as well last year. So, but his percentage was a little bit off. He got a higher percentage now. Like it's his game, and I think he's finally getting comfortable with playing basketball. He can have a bad night and then still shoot a game winner. Like he's getting very comfortable with the game of basketball, and he's about approaching that age where he's pretty much perfecting his prime, and we're going to see like this is like probably the best Anthony Edwards we're going to get, and it could be a run of it. So is Anthony Edwards and that team good enough to not just make the conference finals, because they did that twice. Can they go further and actually get over the hump and go to the finals?
No.
I think that's the question at hand.
No.
No.
I think it's a simple question. It's answer. No. They not.
He can be the best player on the court, but the next four are going to be on an opposing team. He just don't have enough. He don't have enough.
Who you got? McDaniels.
You got McDaniels,
Gobert,
Randall, Gobert, DiVincenzo.
Naz Reid.
Naz Reid, yeah.
They went to the conference final twice.
He went to the conference finals. He had Cat. They beat Denver.
And he went there with
Julius. He beat LA last year. Julius Randle there.
You and Randle 2 years ago?
Taking a step back.
Last year. OKC beat them.
Oh, because they
got LA.
Okay.
They was on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah.
They didn't match up.
I forgot who they
Denver
played in the
went
second
7
round.
with OKC.
Devin will say in the second round. Yeah.
I don't see it, Justin. I don't.
I don't.
They can't beat OKC. They're not deep enough. They don't have the versatility. He's a good player, but they're gonna D his ass up. Him and Williams and Shea perimeter defense gives him problems. And that's why he shoots the threes.
And Randall had a great season last year, especially in that first
he has not had a great season this year at all.
And I'll say the only thing that stops OKC and San Antonio is Jokic and Denver getting hot and ruining that conference finals party. But I've had this conversation. If you put the over under 0.5 titles for Jokic, I don't think he wins another title. San Antonio's better, Oklahoma City's better. Boston be better next year. Indiana be better next year. I don't see Jokic win another title.
Slow down. They just need a little bit more bench depth.
We said that last year. They got Cam Johnson. That didn't help. And now Aaron Gordon's had his fourth hamstring injury.
That's the problem.
Jamal Murray is finally gotten through that log jam of guards in the West to make an all-star team. I just don't.
They're 2 games out of the third spot. Like we not.
I know they playing well. It's not like they're not. Okay. I'm talking about can you beat OKC in a 7-game series.
I don't think they can do that.
Depth. OKC has so much depth. That is the difference. You can get their first unit, but can you get the second?
And it's getting chippy. They had that game the other day. It's getting chippy between.
OKC
well,
my man Jokic was like you about to kill somebody. You saw that?
Yeah.
Yo, his face.
And they still lost.
Yeah. But at least he showed some passion. I like passion. Sometimes they say the European players don't look like they care about the game or they just care about, just get your points, da-da-da. My man said, no. I care. This means a lot. I love that. That was good. But, any other stories out the Western Conference that y'all looking at? Calvin?
I'm interested to see after the season what Kyrie does because I don't think he's in Dallas. So for the long term, he's gonna miss this entire year, and they've already talked about him sitting down. But Dallas is on the cusp of rebuilding now with Cooper Flag. But I'll touch on the Lakers subject on LeBron. It's not working. It's not working with the 3 of them, with Reeves and Luka. With 2 of them is fine. Reeves is playing well, with Luka. And we just have the Ayton piece has also been a disappointment this year. But for the most part, let's just say LeBron's not completely into it this year. And maybe that's because he knows or he thinks that they can't win a title. But it's time for him to move on. And what's crazy was I was listening to another podcast and they mentioned that Cleveland is not the destination. It's to stay in California and go play up north with Steph. At this point, you get to do what you want to do. I don't know if Cleveland's the best destination with Harden because that team will play no defense with Harden and LeBron and Donovan Mitchell. You just getting beat up every which way on the perimeter. But it's time for LeBron to move on. And because he hasn't announced his retirement yet, but he's come back for another year. And, it's got to be a production. It's got to be a year-long thing. So it's time to rebuild in LA.
Man signed a 1-day contract with wherever he want to retire and just go out on top, man.
You're not Tim Duncan, man.
Just do it, man. It's over. It's over. Your body is still in good shape for a human being. You're not beat up to the point where you can't get out of bed at night. End it. You ain't winning no title. unless you go on to San Antonio or OKC to just go, like, what's your goal? That's my question. Like, what is the goal of hanging on for another year? Is it you go play with Steph next year? Let's say that. You ain't winning nothing. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, what is the point? So is it just to give the fans a farewell to say, oh, me and Steph played together in my last year and I'm going out? Who wants to go out in that final year for a team I never played for? I have nothing with. You know what I mean? Why not go to Cleveland, who is a contender? If you're going to go out there. You know what I mean? Like, but if not, sign a one-day deal with Cleveland or Miami and call it quits. Like, or how about get on Twitter tomorrow and say, this is it for me. These last several games are the last time you're going to see LeBron James, and the NBA can give him a final farewell. And the Lakers are going to make the playoffs, right? Y'all in contention. So, so this would be his final playoff run. You know what I mean? However many games that lasts, it could be the play-in, whatever. Be done with it, man. Like, you got a lot of money. You got a lot of opportunities. You had a great career. Let's just move on. Let's move on. Love the guy, but I think you're overstaying. You're dragging this out. You really are, because the goal is to win a title. You know what I mean? Like stop. That's just my thoughts on it. Anyway, Justin, any final thoughts on that?
You want to New York?
Boy, I was about to say a blatant curse word on this joint. Nah, I think Cleveland. If once this James Harden thing fails, I think they call LeBron, and it'd be interesting to see. And then that he should bow out there. I don't mind that, but he's definitely getting a tour. He's definitely getting the tour.
Yeah. Let's move on to the Major League Baseball. Has anybody been looking at any spring training? See anything from the Baltimore Orioles? Anything been jumping out? Any injuries? Any updates? What's going on? Calvin, I'll start with you.
Hadn't been paying more attention to the pitch in the last couple days. Gunner's out with Team USA at the World Baseball Classics. They're doing that tour, and I think that starts next week as well. No new news on Westberg. Jackson Holiday supposedly progressing well. He'll be back shortly after the start of the season. It was good to see Scott Boras. He was on with Ryan Ripken. If you don't know Scott Boras, he's the agent for Peter Alonso and also Jackson Holiday and also Gunnar Henderson. So you want to keep a good rapport with him because he's the agent to all the stars. You just want, and he kind of talked about the fit with Peter Alonso in Baltimore and basically bailed him out. Because they paid, he was able to get Alonso what he said he could, and he bailed him out. And so you build a good rapport, you do him a favor and bail him out. He gave him extra $5-10 million, which was on top of what New York had already offered. So he got him what he said he could. So you keep a good rapport with the agent like that. I'm interested to see how they start the year, because without Gunnar right now, you're kind of platooning at shortstop. So you kind of see who's going to back up Gunnar when his days off. So you kind of have that. That's what you're doing right now with Gunnar and playing for Team USA. But waiting for the start of the regular season. I got 3 weeks. Open day is always a holiday. But right now the Birds are, they're progressing well, and hopefully they're getting healthy and will stay healthy this year, because we had a lot of injuries last year, especially start the season with no Gunnar, and then Cowser goes out and Westberg goes out. So you want to keep those guys healthy and continue to progress to spring training.
Justin,
I guess a few things. One, Kobe Mayo is the third baseman until Jordan gets back. So I mean, he started at third, and he went to first for a little bit. Now he's back at third, so outfield. So hopefully he's cool. Just a young guy. You keep switching him everywhere. I just hope that he's okay mentally more than anything. Peter Alonso, I think it's been reports that he's taking a leadership role in the team, which is great. You want to hear the person that you spent your money for, person that can put people in the seats. Is he a diva or is he a team guy? And it seems like he's a team guy. He even said orange is his new colors, although you came from the Mets one was orange and blue. But it's cool. We're gonna keep the orange. We're gonna keep the orange thing going. And yeah, so that's what you want to hear from one of your main guys, and just hope that people like you said, Gunner is going to me he's doing extra baseball stuff. I know he's representing the United States, but it's extra, right? You know what I'm saying? You could have said no, right? So just don't get hurt. Don't get hurt. We don't need no.
Especially him not playing shortstop. They moved him to third base. He could have definitely said no.
So
very true, very true.
Hopefully he's okay. But that's all I got. It's cool. We ain't getting too much bad news within the past week.
So I have an idea.
Oh shit!
I want the opening week to be big baseball coverage for Get Off the Damn Fence. And I was thinking, let's look at our calendars. The second Wednesday, the Wednesday that they have a home game, we go live from Camden Yards. So Get Off the Damn Fence.
We're going live on our phones.
We're going to have a whole setup, and we'll go live from the ballpark right there in the middle of the game. What y'all think? We can set this thing up and do it right. I got an idea. I'll run it by y'all off camera. But stay tuned, folks. We're going to do some baseball coverage this year. And, the seats ain't going to be that full, so we're going to have plenty of space. But moving on. I'm just joking. This weekend, Saturday night, UFC fight I've been waiting for, baby. The BMF title is on the line. Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira. These two, anytime you put two of the best hand-to-hand combat fighters in the sport anywhere inside the octagon, you're going to get dynamite, lights out. Oh, man, I cannot wait. If you don't know, the baddest mother title is the BMF title. It only goes to the best sluggers, the best, just guys who don't mind throwing hands, ain't looking to take nobody to the ground, ain't looking for no submissions. You just going out there, your Gaethjes, your Holloways, your Oliveiras, your guys who don't mind just rock'em sock'em robots. And oh man, this fight here, this gonna be one to watch. So if you ain't got nothing else on your calendar, make sure you tune in to Paramount Plus. If you have a subscription, it's free. This Saturday night, woo-wee, it's gonna be a good one, man. What you think, Calvin?
I'm always looking for a good Max Holloway fight. I'm glad to see I didn't realize he still had the BMF title, actually.
Yeah.
I thought he was. Yeah, right, he did. But yeah, I'm always a fan of a good Max Holloway fight. Didn't realize it was this week. For some reason, I thought it was next week. I thought this was a UFC Fight Night week. But yeah, I say I'm looking forward to it. But wrestling's been taking on my calendar. But looking forward to see Max Holloway this weekend though.
Justin, you gonna check it out?
I got Charles in the upset, man. I got Charles with the upset. The Brazilian himself, I got him with the upset. I think he's due. And we just and at the end of the day, just fight, man. Just fight night.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I don't really think that either one will be an upset. They evenly matched. The first fight was crazy. This one will be just as crazy. I can't wait. It should be fun.
You don't think Chris got? You don't think Olivia got robbed in the first fight?
I thought it was close either way. Look, I want a knockout. I don't want no decision. With
that title, it's got to be.
Yeah. So look, if you ain't knock him out, whoever the judges give it to deserve to win at the end of the day, because that's a knockout fight anyway. WWE. Look, man, a lot going on. Look, we just talked about UFC. If you Paramount Plus, if you heard the news, Paramount Plus just won the bid to Paramount won the bid
for now
to purchase. Nah, it's over. Netflix dropped out.
Yeah, they dropped their bid.
But you still got to go through legations and stuff like that. Yeah. It can still drop at any time. But yes, Paramount did get the merger with Warner Brothers.
Yeah, so that means they take it over. In theory, HBO Max, CNN, TNT, TBS,
most importantly, CNN.
That's what they want. And if you know anything about any of this, like we've talked about a few different times on this show, I've kind of broken it down. The Saudi Arabian prince is behind. Saudi Arabian government has pumped a lot of money into Paramount, which helped them to secure that UFC deal. A lot of that why Turkey Al-Shih is pumping money behind TKO Boxing. WWE going over to Saudi Arabia as much as they have. That's all Turkey Al-Shih. You know about Zuffa Boxing with Dana White and all the big fights. A lot of these fights you're going to see on Netflix and things of that nature. That is Saudi Arabia money that is getting pumped in to try to normalize and, quote unquote whitewash, but it's really sports wash, the country of Saudi Arabia, so that it becomes more of a normal thing. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. Tom Brady and some NFL players are going over there to play against Logan Paul and having a flag football thing. Mm-hmm. These are all these types of tactics that Saudi Arabia is doing. But they also have been infiltrating our media. And now to get your hands on, they already got their hands on Paramount. Now you're going to buy WBD. The plan is to combine the two. Now that's all the Discovery channels. That's your TLCs, your TNTs, TBSs, all of those stations combined with the Paramount, the CBS News, and CNN. And man, they're going to really have a huge conglomerate. And anytime a regime that has that much power has control over the news cycle, it's gonna be Fox News on basically all the channels now. You know what I mean? Ain't gonna be no CNN where you get the liberal point of view or the more neutral, fair and balanced. And you go, if you want that red side, you go to Fox News. No, pretty much CBS, CNN, Fox News. Only thing you're gonna have is MSNBC and NBC News and stuff like that to really look for coverage that's not favorable towards Donald Trump. Because at the end of the day, he is the one who's behind a lot of getting these regulations passed. And a lot of this was Larry Ellison going to Trump and trying to make sure that he really going to get this deal approved. Netflix tried their very best. They kept going up on the bid. And every time they put a bid in, Paramount would come and pump more money into it. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes. All that to say, this is all tied back to what's impacting WWE, UFC, AEW, because if you don't know, AEW is on WBD. They on HBO Max. They on tonight. You know what I mean? And they as much as these people talk about this and that, it's probably the best thing for WBD, because if Netflix would have bought it, they probably not for WB but AEW fans. Because if Netflix would have bought it, they were going to split up the streaming division from the TV division. They didn't want all them networks. They was going to let somebody else control that. So that would have hurt the company. But now, by everything going to one conglomerate, AEW's probably, they good. You know what I mean? In theory. But they're going to create a super streaming platform combining Discovery Plus, Paramount Plus, and HBO Max. And that will be number 2 only behind Netflix. So it's a major move. Justin, I'll start with you. I know you follow wrestling and things of that nature, understand some of the implications. What's your thoughts here?
Like you say, Netflix just wanted the streaming side of it. They just wanted their database to be one of the biggest ever.
Yeah.
Yes, in the movies. They even flirted with just having a 17-day movie release. There was just rumors. They wasn't serious behind that. But at the end of the day, Paramount came in with a bigger offer, which is crazy how a bankrupt organization can come up with more money to help out another bankrupt in debt joint. But I think Netflix is doing a smart thing. Don't chase that. Paramount has shown that they're not the best when it comes to handling these type of deals. They're not the best when it comes to getting the most bang for their buck. So this is going to fall on his face, I believe. Maybe not today, but maybe in a few years. Like I'm talking about like 5 years. This is going to fall flat on his face. And Netflix is going to swoop in and buy both of them. Easy money. And I think that's what Netflix is going to do. But I jokingly said on one of my other shows, because we geeked, I say, as long as they don't touch my Game of Thrones, which I just don't mess it up. Don't touch nothing when it comes to that. There's a movie coming out. They talking about doing a movie. Don't mess with it. Everything else, I'm joking behind it. But It's emerging nonetheless, and like you said, it's a lot of politics behind it. You know, you're going to have to just go forget network news. Just don't even look at that. The best way to find news, right here. Use your cell phone. Use the internet. That's going to be your news source, because anything else you have to take with a grain of salt. And that's just where we at as a society. So that's a lot being said. I mean, who knows? In 2 years, a new regime might come in and they might axe everything. You know, it's a lot of stuff that's
forcing the split. Yeah.
So it's a conglomerate. You know what I mean? Like, to have that much control, that's crazy. Calvin, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, like you said, look, at this point, you're going to have to find your own source of information outside of what you see on TV on a regular basis, based off this what's going to happen with this deal, and just the networks that will be combined. And this is. We didn't even touch on the reason as to why Netflix dropped out in regards to the current administration wanted them to fire their CEO. Is that correct? CEO, COO. You know what was the title?
I didn't hear that. I thought they dropped out because Larry Ellison got more money from the Saudi government.
Supposedly. From what allegedly, if Netflix was to buy them, it wasn't going to go through because it would still have to be approved by Congress.
Trump.
Yeah. Well, it still had to be approved, and they didn't, and he didn't want that to happen. So I believe I forgot her name. I have to go back and look at her name. She made comments about the purchase, and he made comments about he wouldn't allow it to pass if she was still, and it's a black woman, if she was still leading. If I want to say she's the CEO of Netflix, she's on the board. I can't remember her name or exact title, and it was either to fire her, and that's why I'll let the merger pass, or if you don't, then we're going to kind of stall it. So they just decided to drop out, and that's when, Paramount.
They came with a super bid, and
they're still even paying the fee for you're paying that, and you're paying Netflix a fee for them to drop out.
You had to, because you had to pay like $2.8 billion because they didn't get the deal. It's crazy, but a lot of money involved. A lot of it is captured venture debt, so they ain't getting no cash exchange or nothing like that. They had to go into, like you said, super debt to even secure it, put it in escrow. They didn't have enough money to do that. They had to go through all these hoops. It wasn't until, like, I think they got, which is crazy if you look at what just happened last weekend with the bombing of Iran and all that kind of stuff. And it's a lot more to it with the whole political aspect, because where the money was coming from. And this world is crooked, bro. It's always been crooked. But when you
you just got that memo.
When you got the chief crooked guy in the White House, like, bleating about it, like, you hear whispers, but this stuff is like in front of your face, and it's like, what you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. Like, oh yeah, we're not even gonna do it because he's not gonna approve it one way or another. Like, that didn't happen. Like, that's wild. But let's get to some wrestling, man. Let's get to some light fare. WrestleMania, speaking of, is scheduled to be in Saudi Arabia next year. But this year, ticket sales have been down from what they were doing last year. There have been a lot of changes to the lineup. The ticket prices are actually ridiculous. I've been to 7 WrestleManias, all right? And I used to go to WrestleMania. You might pay, and I think the closest I sat was probably New Orleans, was pay like $230 for, a really good seat. You know what I mean? Like, it was a lot at the time, but that's when WrestleMania was only one day. You ain't had to pay for no 2 nights. And so I was like, okay, I'll pay for WrestleMania. I also had to pay for SmackDown, Raw, Hall of Fame, NXT. So I was paying for a lot, but by the time you pay for about $1,000 for the weekend, it's New Orleans. You get your hotel, da-da-da-da. That was probably one of the more expensive WrestleManias I've been to. But I was Miami, Orlando, San Francisco, New York. New York was expensive. I hated that one. They all pretty much $150, something like that. Bro, if you look at these ticket prices for Las Vegas this year, they got 2 nights. If you want a nosebleed seat, I'm telling you, yeah, you can pay probably $2 something to sit in the corner where the light shining you in your eyes and you barely can see anything. You probably can't even get a good view of the screen. Like, it's actually ridiculous. For a good seat, you're paying $1,000. You're paying $600 for a decent seat, and they expect you to go to both nights. $1,200 for 2 nights. Suppose you don't want to go this by yourself. So if you got a friend, you know what I mean, they got to do it. You're not gonna get no group of friends that's gonna have that kind of money unless you just roll with some high rollers. You know what I mean? It makes it kind of impossible to be a fan. Like, unless you are very, very lucrative. Suppose you got kids and you want to take your kids to wrestling. You can't do it like you used to unless you got that kind of money. It is actually ridiculous. And I know a lot of people saying, well, basketball is expensive, football is expensive. No, you can get a good football seat for $100, 100, what, 20, 120. Now, a great seat, of course, you're going to pay more than that. But wrestling, we're talking about just a few years ago in the pandemic, before the pandemic, they was doing $20 seats down in Baltimore Arena when wrestling came to town. Now, they about to come here in May. Watch how high them damn seats be. Watch how high them, I think it's May or June. Watch how high them seats be.
It's June. It's around my birthday.
Yeah. I'm like, bruh. So, and they like, well, WWE struggling to sell tickets. No shit. When you shoot the price up and you outprice your clientele, it limits who's going to be able to come and follow you. Plus, you got to get a hotel. You got to get plane tickets and come from out of town. You got to feed yourself. You got to do other things throughout the course of the weekend. I think they're making a TKO bought this company, and I think they turned the strategy into maximizing dollars because they spend so much money to get it. And I think it's a miss, man. It's really a miss, and it's really hurting the overall feel of the fan base towards the product. We had a pay-per-view last week. Fans in Chicago complained about the same thing. Very expensive. The crowd was dead. The Rapid fans who probably would cheer the most, who were more excited about wrestling, probably were outpriced and weren't in the building. You know what I mean? And that hurts the product on the screen. Justin, go ahead. What's your thoughts?
This is simple. I don't mind the strategy that TKO and the team was doing. We, as the consumers, were supposed to do exactly what we're doing. You don't show up. You don't buy the tickets. They're going to try to fleece you, and they're going to say, "Oh yeah, we sold out." No, you didn't. You didn't sell out. You didn't do it. And that's what you're supposed to do as a consumer. That's what you're supposed to do as the fans. When your NFL team or your NBA or MLB team is trash, stop showing up. That's the problem with fans. They keep showing up to certain teams when your team is your team is absolutely awful. Just stop until they say that. Until you feel as if the product meets the price. And the product right now is not. I mean, 2 years ago, WrestleMania, the road to WrestleMania was way more entertaining. Last year was way more entertaining than what we dealing with right now. So they're not doing their part, and then they're going to try to upsell you too. No, sir. You put your foot down and say, "No, we're not doing it. We're not going to be there. We're not going to come." And now they're starting to, okay, maybe we should do this. Maybe we should do that. It's too late now. It's too late. You can't sell out Vegas. That's terrible. So shout out to Chicago for being one of the main ones to step up first and foremost and say no, not on our watch. And you would think with CM Punk with his MJ entrance and all those things, oh yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a show. It wasn't. It was a dud. It was dud.
Do you think that if WrestleMania was in New Orleans as it was originally planned, that there would be more ticket sales would be higher? And part of the lack of ticket sales is because it's Vegas, and you also have to travel to Vegas. You have to reserve a hotel room. Okay. So
That's the Super Bowl mindset. Although the Super Bowl moves, they feel as if like this is our spot. This is going to be the number one price ticket of the year. Come to see us. We are stapling here. New Orleans can't contain what we have going on. They was feeling themselves.
Not true. I mean, I get what you're saying, but what happened was they love New Orleans. New Orleans is in the rotation. They only picked maybe 5 or 6 different spots to go to. New Orleans was earmarked for it. Las Vegas is struggling with tourism.
Yeah.
So they paid an extraordinary amount of money last year to have WrestleMania in Vegas over Easter weekend, which you're not ever supposed to do nothing on Easter weekend. Like, you're going to get people to travel. Like, a lot of people who are religious, whatever, they go to church and stuff like that. So they did so well, way more than they thought they could. And the tourism in Vegas, again, this year is even worse. A lot of people attribute it to the World Cup, a lot of the ice stuff, a lot of tourists who typically would travel to the United States. Remember, if you've gone to a Mania before, you know it is a traveling thing. A lot of the Europeans come to WrestleMania. A lot of the people from other countries is a large percentage of the people who come to WrestleMania. It is an international event. This year, international tourism, Americans hate it. You know what I mean? Like, we are a hated country. And a lot of people are scared to come here if you don't have paperwork, you're not a citizen. So tourism in Vegas overall is down. So Vegas threw even more money at WWE this year. There's a rumor that they doubled the fee that they got last year because they did so well for WWE to come back. So WWE, TKO, let me stop saying WWE. TKO broke the contract with
New
Orleans and said, we'll give y'all we'll give you 2 future ones because we're going to come to Vegas. Because why? TKO is based basically in Vegas because UFC. They know all the commissions, they know all you know what I mean? And they feel like making it a Vegas event is more of a entertainment capital type spot when more people will come. Well, they overestimated that, and it's not Easter weekend no more. Turns out that the Easter weekend thing kind of helped that the whole people willing to be traveling and make it their holiday because it's spring break, conjunction with spring break. Kids were off. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of did. I didn't think about that. Typically around Easter when a lot of people have their spring break. So that's why a lot of people traveled last year and they were able to do as well as they did. New Orleans is actually the better place for me because you can walk. New Orleans, you basically, and not that you can't walk in Vegas, but the temperature's better in New Orleans. Calvin, was you with us when we went to New Orleans for Mania?
No,
it was Dorian and Rick. Oh, man. You can go everywhere. You know what I mean?
Because everything's in walking distance, and especially to Bourbon Street and the casinos and all that. It's not Vegas. It's more of a, I don't want to say smaller town feel, but it's more
town feel. It is so. And all the ancillary wrestling shows. Remember, WrestleMania is not just WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. Every organization has a wrestling show out there. So all your small independent shows will have shows on Thursday, Friday. It'd be 5 and 6 different shows on Thursday and Friday. Multiple shows on Saturday, including NXT, Ring of Honor, all those. That's what made the weekend great. But now that there's an AEW, a lot of those independents ain't around no more. So that cuts back on your tourism. Where before, if I wasn't necessarily going to Vegas just for WWE, I knew Ring of Honor was going to have a big show. NXT going to have a big show. You got CZ, all these third-party, AAA, TNA back in the day used to run off the back of WWE. So it was a reason, Joe Janela, GCW, to come to Vegas or come to wherever that site was to come to the show. Now, I'm not paying you all that money, and I'm a person who has gone multiple times, and I know a lot of people. All the people I used to go to WrestleMania with, nobody's going. And then not just because we older, it's because I ain't got it like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not kicking that kind of money out. I ain't stupid. That is ridiculous, man. That is ridiculous. But I agree with you, Justin. The product on the TV ain't. Look, if you were giving me something I felt like, oh, I can't miss this. Now, I love to see CM Punk Roman Reigns feud, so that is working for me. But Is it enough for me to kick out $600? No, I can watch it for free on this little app I got. You know what I mean? That come with my Hulu TV. Like, I think that's also played a part into it. Back in the day, like you had to go out of your way because it was special. Now we become conditioned to just click on the little app, Peacock, or now ESPN if you got it with your subscription, and watch it from the comfort of your home. Why am I pay all that damn money? That's crazy.
Yeah, but then another thing, like whatever you miss, you can watch on social media. You can watch on Twitter. You can watch on IG, and it's not like I'm missing something when I can see this entire match that I want to see on Twitter an hour afterwards. And it's no longer I have to wait until Monday after Raw to see what happened, or I have to wait till SmackDown on that Friday after Raw to see what happened. I can find out what happened in 5 minutes. And now, not only that, I can watch it if I don't have the app or didn't pay for it, just via social media. So it's not that immediate need, but it is getting exciting from a Roman CM Punk perspective. So
I love the promo Monday. Yeah. That was good.
So and y'all do got Cody winning Friday, right? It's going to be.
I don't think so.
You don't think it's going to be Cody Randy? Okay.
I think it's going to be a multiple man match. I think Jacob gets in there. I think Randy. It might be a 4-way. It might be a 4-way.
I think Cody wins for sure.
And it's still triple threat. I mean,
he's not winning that title. That's the thing. Yeah, Fatu can come up there and mess it up.
It's been too much interference for them not to continue that. You know what I mean? Unless you're going one-on-one with Fatu and Drew at Mania, I don't see that.
Yeah, I see at least that. Yeah,
at least a 3-way, at least. But I think a 4-way is best, and I would make it a special match. They got to do something because at this point, the fans have soured on it. Initially, they called an audible because they felt like Drew was getting beat too much. Let's give him the title. He was getting beat too much. Look, man, I don't know why problem people have with Drew McIntyre. I thought Drew did a sensational job in that whole feud with CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Remember when he was like the antagonist and always like getting under their skin and Punk, I hate you. And when Punk lost, he would like torture him. Like he did a great job. And I do think he elevated his character work in that feud. And him being able to parlay that into this little title run, I think they can book him stronger and it would be more believable for him to be the champion for sure. But that comes down to Triple H and his booking. You got to do the work. I'm not blaming that on Drew. I think Drew has done his part. Cody does not need to be the champion at all times. It's fine to change the title and let other people touch it. I have no problem with that.
And I guess thirdly will be eventually Randy, and he should have did it last year. He gotta start winning some titles. Yeah. Like that is a thing that they're going to have him beat the record. He's been with the company the entire time. He's homegrown, even more so than John Cena because who his father was. So like he grew up into the company. So I think Randy does get the title, and he's still in shape enough to get it. So he got to do it. You don't think he's gonna get it? You don't think he's gonna get 17?
And I know y'all love Randy, and I like Randy. I don't have a problem. But a lot of the fans were very pissed off that he won that match on Sunday. Why are they going with the old guy? He's old. Why we keep going back to the well? John Cena just retired. Why are you getting these old guys?
So they thought they wanted Cody to win? Trick wasn't winning.
I think a lot of people.
Javon wasn't winning.
Wanted Jacob Fatu in the match and wanted Jacob Fatu to go to the top. And once that didn't happen, you just assume Cody going to win. Some kind of way Jacob weasels his way into a triple threat. That was like kind of like the opinion, but I think to swerve people, now they threw the Randy thing in there out of the clear blue sky, which to me isn't bad because it keeps it interesting, keeps people on their toes. We don't know where everything is going. I like that type of wrestling, but I do understand the sentiment of, all right, we got some young talent around here now. You know what I mean? Like, we can move this thing along. Like, I like the whole Seth thing. I love that. I like him and returning the whole foot stomp to Paul Heyman. And I get the injury thing. You know, if Braun Breaker didn't get hurt, if Bronson Reed didn't get
Yeah.
hurt, the whole feud would be different. So I get that. I'm not holding that
Shit,
in.
if Seth didn't get hurt, there wouldn't be a feud between them.
The whole thing. You know what I mean? Shit, Punk would have never won the title if Seth didn't get hurt.
Sure.
They
Sure.
probably would have never broke the group up this early. But I'm just saying, at some point, you do got to put some new guys over, though. You know what I mean? Like, you running with Punk and Roman and Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes.
I don't see a problem with Randy getting it because he doesn't need a long-term run. His thing is multiple versus longevity. He doesn't even have it. And hopefully the Money in the Bank is right around the corner. It's not too far away. That's when, let's say, like you said, we talked about on We Talk Combat. Like that's Trick. That's Trick's bag right there. Let him win the Money in the Bank. Let him carry that briefcase. Let him style it out. Let him do what he does because he's a beacon of what the future is. Then go ahead and let him cash in against Randy or someone on the light. And then now you got the new blood. Now you got a younger talent. Now you got someone that's him as of right now.
But do you think they did enough investment into Jacob Fatu over the last year that it is worthy of finishing that off? And you built him up, and he was a focus for a while there. Like, he was the monster in the bloodline. He was the guy who broke out and developed his character into what he is.
Monsters don't have long title reigns if they had title reigns at all.
I think he kind of got out of the monster frame, though, and became a standalone babyface. And I think that's worthy of paying off. Plus, you got him in a real feud with the champion. Like, I'm always going to go for, if I got a guy I see potential in who's younger, I'm going to go with that over going back to the same well I've been doing, especially if it was successful. If the person flopped, I get it. Like, for me, Damian Priest was never at that level where I'm going to put the title on him. But I can see why you do it, because he showed flashes. He showed
because he lost to Bad Bunny.
But
they owed him.
He was a good soldier. But I'm just saying, like, he had the look they like. He had the charisma in some ways, not great weeks. But to me, Jacob, I think he's ready. I really do. I can see Jacob Fatu in a feud with Cody Rhodes. Like, I can see that. I can see Jacob Fatu and Aleister Black or Malachi Black, whatever his name is. I can see him and
Did
Trick.
you really just say Aleister Black?
I was getting.
Ain't that his name?
It don't matter what his name. His name is irrelevant. That's his name.
Yeah.
His name is Karrion Kross. That's his name.
That's a good point.
Yo, he's good.
Individually, yes. Individually, the whole damn roster is good. But he's trash right now.
He's saying got to be the champion. He's somebody you beat him.
You got him feuding with Fatu, and Fatu's the champion.
I think the champion should beat some people along the line. I mean, you ain't got to always be getting on a match way. Oh, he gonna lose this time. Like, TV has some title defenses here and there. I think that's what wrestling is missing. Everybody want to be Roman Reigns. Well, you only wrestle every 6 months or something like that. We need some champions to just go out there and get the job done here and there. Like, I mean, mix it up. Everybody ain't got to come out in a suit and tie every week.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. Just like Finn Balor and CM Punk. Who you thought was going to win that one?
Good.
Trash.
But it was a good match, though.
Trash.
That was a good match. Like, I like fighting champions. I enjoy that. But again, what y'all think for Mania? So right now on the books, you got Roman Reigns, CM Punk. What's your thoughts on that matchup, Calvin?
Build up has been great. I'm loving these. I'm loving Roman's continued involvement in Raw and Punk. The build up for this has been great so far.
Got to sustain it.
Yeah, they could. You got 6 weeks to man. You could easily sustain it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to fight at any point in time. If we're gonna have these regular one-on-ones with them in the ring, at least over the course of the next 5 or 6 Raws, then it'll be perfect for me. So I'm looking forward to that. I think Cody's going to win Friday. I think we get Cody Randy at least. I think that's going to be the build-up, especially with them being the last 2 in Elimination Chamber. I'm interested to see what they do with Seth. Because he's not clear.
That
doesn't do it for me.
I think that's the direction.
I don't think they have a choice.
Who else left?
I mean, true. That's the point.
Listen,
but
don't look at it as Logan Paul. Look at it as Braun Breaker, because that's what they did in the chamber. They kept the same goddamn script, but they just said, "Hey, Logan Paul, you do the exact same thing and get 3 eliminations."
I think Logan
should
is
have
good.
been Braun Breaker.
I think Logan is good.
Logan's not bad, but he shouldn't have had 3 eliminations in the chamber. That was Braun Breaker's spot. That was Bronson Reed's spot. That's what spot that was.
I mean,
they just kept it going.
Yeah, better than Jey Uso. But okay. What about Brock Lesnar's match? Who's taking his open challenge?
So
you want to say
this
over?
is the thing. No. That's what I wanted at first. But I think with LA Knight doing what he did with Paul Heyman, like he did extra. You know, he took the ambulance and all this other stuff and did more stuff. Well, Paul Heyman is not just a vision guy. It's Brock's guy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think Brock is taking too kindly of that. So he might say something about that. And then he said, well, you know, LA Knight's going to defend himself. And he probably take that challenge and get smashed. But he'll take the challenge.
To be fair,
do we see more of Brock without Heyman, though?
I mean, he got no choice. He said he gonna be
choice.
there.
I mean, he went to the ambulance, dog. He done for at least 2 weeks.
He said he'll be there. Look, a couple, like I think a month ago, this was before the Rumble. There was a plan that was leaked, and on the books for Brock at Mania was LA Knight, and they was like, you'll see who it's going to be a hint of who he's going to face at the Rumble. So, of course, at the Rumble, you saw what happened, and it was a lot of people.
To be fair, it was 2 people. It was still 2 people.
It was Cody, too.
But again, a lot of people saw the standoff with Obafemi and thought, okay, that's the hint. But LA Knight did. He was part of the clothesline that got Brock up out of there. That was the worst elimination in the history of the Royal Rumble. You do that in the middle of Jey Uso's entrance. It was
that was 100% Brock. That was Brock. Brock was ready to get out of there.
I ain't saying it wasn't. I'm just telling you, it was terrible. You're tired. You don't time those things
Brock, that was,
in the
that
middle
was
of the entrance. He's a terrible. He's just a bad guy. He doesn't care about what's best.
He don't care about anything but himself.
He shows everybody up. He no-sell stuff. I can't stand that guy. But anyway, yeah.
Ilya has never been the same, by the way. But go ahead, continue.
He shit all over that guy. You know what I mean? But anyway,
he has not been the same since the.
But I agree. Ever since then, everybody just been looking for any old clue, any old hint they could give away. Is Brock in LA? Is Brock in LA? Because it makes perfect sense for it to be Obafemi. It makes perfect sense for it to be Gunther, to be honest with you. But it might be LA Knight. It might be.
I don't think the build up for Gunther needs to start yet.
I think Gunther was the one.
Okay, it's not Gunther. Let's just say it's
but
not.
It doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense for Gunther to beat him necessarily. It doesn't make sense for Brock to win. I think you build that up towards SummerSlam where he's supposed to retire.
I think you beat him the first time. And then the second time, Brock put his career on the line. Like you do something like, oh, damn, he beat him. And then Brock, like, you ain't going to do me like you do the rest of them. And then I'll put my career on and Gunther goads him into it. And then he chokes his punk ass out and sends him home. Like, but I don't think Brock ready to go out yet. I can think you can save that for down the line. But that's what I think they should eventually do. It don't have to be this WrestleMania, but so I like the little standoff with Rusev and I think he do something with Rey Mysterio and them, right? Like he was with Dragon Lee.
I would think that it's Rey Mysterio's time to retire.
He chokes him out. Yeah. He in that little feud. He had Dragon Lee. That was a good match the other night. Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
It was good.
Okay. It was good on the fact that both of them was performing very well.
That's
my problem was the multiple finishers when it came to that. Once he powerbombed Dragon Lee on that table, he should have been a dead man walk. He should have been down there just curled over limp. And Gunther just roll his ass in the ring, 1, 2, 3. No way in hell does a jobber like Dragon Lee survive like 2 to 3 power bombs from Gunther.
Dragon Lee is not a jobber. That's the problem.
He's a goddamn jobber.
He's not a jobber.
He is.
That guy was
He's
the
a
main
jobber.
eventer in New Japan. He's right now in
This is
AAA.
America.
He's treated as a top
Take
star.
his ass to AAA. Ain't nothing wrong
No,
with AAA, but that's
nah,
where he needs to go.
That's the point.
He need to
They-
go.
they-
We talked
they
combat.
have
We said
mishandled Dragon
Damian
Lee.
Priest,
So
Punk
now
Ass
that
need
they
to go
trying
to
to actually
AAA.
give him
It's a
some
lot of people.
credibility.
The Wire 6
People
need to
don't
go to
believe it.
AAA. A lot of people
Nah,
need to go to AAA.
Dragon Lee is sensational, man. He's been
She is
underutilized.
sensational as
Ray
a
Phoenix,
AAA
another
artist.
guy. I'm glad they got Penta.
He need to
finally
go with his
did
brother.
something.
He need to go with his
Penta
brother.
looked good. Won the Intercontinental
Yeah.
title the other night. Happy
Well
for him.
deserved. Well deserved.
Yeah, man. Like
Yeah.
that, you gotta utilize these horses you got, man. Or guess what? They're gonna be gone, and people like, how come WWE ain't got no talent?
I got issues
got
with that.
plenty of
Like, why
talent.
did they wait so long for Dominic to lose like that? They should have just stripped his ass while he was hurt.
Nah. They did the right thing. You give the rub to Penta, and now you can move Dom over to his feud with Finn Balor for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You know that's
It would
what's
have been
coming.
a lot better if it was for the IC title.
You don't need it. You don't
Not
need
with
it.
Finn. No, Finn just fought for the world title. Like,
You
nah,
don't
I'm not
need it.
demoting him like that.
The whole
And I'm
the
glad
heat
with it.
is you cost me my title.
Yeah.
That's the heat.
And I'm glad he didn't come out as a demon because he was taking too many L's as a demon. Like
Yeah.
When
they
it
kind
was
of
Chicago. Yeah, we talked about it on the Discord. It's
yeah.
when he came up with the Jordan theme, I was like, ugh.
You at that point
You losing,
knew
bro.
you
No
knew it was a
chance.
rap.
But
Who was that behind him too? Who's that behind him when they cut the?
Mm,
It wasn't because I thought it was Heyman, but I don't. Obviously not now with him being written off.
Danhausen premiered. I know if you don't watch,
That's
AEW,
your boy. That's your boy.
Ain't my boy. I never liked Danhausen.
He was better on Monday. Nah,
He was better on Monday. But if you watch AEW, he had his fans on there. I never fan that joke, but he has his comedic timing at time. But if you don't know, you don't know. And the fans react, they're like, what is this?
They didn't know.
A fart in church. You know what I mean? Like, so again, that's what happened. You outprice
It was just
your
bad
audience.
timing. It was bad timing.
You outpriced your audience. The hardcores who would have been cheering for him would have known exactly who it was, did not buy a ticket to the show. That's just the bottom line, man. I mean, that shit is what it is. Chicago is a well-known staple for WWE and AEW. That's like AEW's home base. Danhausen is well-known there. Anyway, another feud that's going on right now is with the women, and it's going to be Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley, and they've been having some online, shooting.
Come on, talk to me, yo. Is it a shoot or is it a work? Talk to me.
It's a work that turned into a shoot. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's a work that is using shoot material. Like everything that was said is true. Like many people have said Jade is not a good worker. We got eyes. You know what I mean? A lot of people say she's not worthy of her spot. I mean, if you're looking at who's the best wrestler, of course not. But if you're looking at who the star is, like she's a goddamn star. She deserves her spot. Again, I think, and I've been in some heated debates this week about this. I'm on a couple Discords and we talk wrestling, and I'm the black guy, so I'm always stand 10 toes. And it's like y'all looking at this from what's fair and da da da. Like black people do not get the same opportunities that white people get traditionally in wrestling. How many no good wrestlers, bodybuilder type white men have we put up with throughout the history of wrestling because they were steroided up, they had a certain look, they got pushed to the moon, and nobody batted an eye. But this woman, you know what I mean? Then somebody tried to tell me, well, no, everybody that got pushed, they had great talent. Even Hogan had great talent, and Randy Savage, Ric Flair. I said, oh, you skipped over Ultimate Warrior, didn't you? Like, yeah, he had charisma, but Jay got charisma. She's not the best worker. Warrior's not the best worker. But guess what? Certain things you can do to make them look good enough in the ring to get by. I get it. In 2026, the standard for in-ring wrestling is completely different from the 80s. But let's not act like we didn't just see Jade have a match with the girl, like what, a month ago? What's the muscular girl name?
Jordan Grace.
Jordan Grace.
And,
that match wasn't bad.
She sold that whole match because she sold the injury. She
did a good
sold
job.
that whole match. Give
That
her
is,
her respect for that.
give her credit. You know what I mean? Oh, she never
Mhm.
wrestles. Okay, y'all say she sucks. Why are you mad that they're not overexposing her? That's what you do when somebody's not good at something. You let them work on it, practice, get better. Well, she shouldn't be the champion if she's not good enough.
Well, damn it,
You're
the
missing
same
the
thing that
point.
Tiffany had to deal with. Tiffany
Thank
came out
you.
herself and said, one, she had no direction all of last year. Two, she smashed everybody that she fought, and then she was just
You
left with
don't learn.
nothing.
You don't learn.
Jade came in the situation after she beat Tiffany. There's no one on this roster to fight because everybody else is in a tag because they're
Well,
pushing the
also,
tag circuit.
people didn't know Jade was dealing with an injury, and that
The
girls
odd,
were trying.
the odd thing.
They try to hold that against her. Oh, she wasn't really hurt. She just didn't want to go out there and get exposed, and she tried to drag out her title defense.
How
Here's
long
the
you gonna
thing.
sell fighting Misha and beef at?
Look, guys, that's what I'm trying to say. If you really be fair about it, just be fair. Go back to last year. The storyline was Jade got taken out. There was a mystery component to it. Who did it? It turns out it was Naomi. Naomi gets unveiled as the person. Naomi wins Money in the Bank. Naomi wins the world title. What happened to Naomi? All of a sudden, Naomi gets pregnant. And Naomi is gone. We got the match between Jade and Naomi. Yes, we did. But that wasn't supposed to be the end of the story. They had to wrap that up because they found out Naomi had to go. Who else was involved with that whole storyline? Bianca Belair. When the last time you seen Bianca Belair? Bianca
WrestleMania.
been gone. They have expected Bianca to return on multiple
They
different
expect-
occasions.
That's why Jay said that you was a second option.
Oh, that's true. I mean, it is what it is. But the whole point was to set up the big showdown between Bianca and Jade. So to do that, Jade was the champion. And the timeline just kept getting extended. In the meantime, you don't want to keep overexposing her. You don't want to go out there beating people you got plans for. Yeah, you want to give her some wins. I do think she should have had more matches by now. But I just think people are being completely who know better. That's the thing that pisses me off. If it's just some random who not in the know, who don't read the tea leaves, the inside scoops and stuff like that, that's one thing. But people who know better, you know that Bianca been out longer than expected with this finger thing. So the whole plan was Bianca and Jade at WrestleMania. They had to call an audible. It is what it is. Adapt. But to shit all over Jade and make this a thing, I dislike it,
When
man.
she didn't start it,
No.
it was
Well,
real.
Jade did comment on Chelsea Green's Instagram, saying something, and Chelsea said she wasn't talking about her, but could have been. And then Piper Niven jumped in, and then Jade going to clap. You know what I mean? That's just who she is. You know what I mean?
She learned a lot from I think Naomi. She sold that character
social media
via social media first, and then it
A+.
caught fire.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she just picked up what she put down, and Jade is tremendous via social
Fire,
media.
man.
But then your girl Ripley called Karen, and
Karen, she talking about we ain't friends, we ain't this, trying to get yourself over, breaking the fourth wall. And now everybody like, oh Lord, Rhea spoke, because Rhea typically don't say much.
Yeah.
So now it's giving the feud a little bit more heat. I mean, they definitely gonna work. It's like the Charlotte and Tiffany thing from last year's WrestleMania. But when you keep doing things like this, that's when it gets to the point where people like, all right, y'all going back to the same well over and over again. But they was ribbing on the square.
entertaining.
It was cool. But most Mania, you add a little bit of realism in there to sell it. You know what I mean?
The whole thing is I think that's the theme. And I think they was just the last ones to join the theme. The theme is personal. It's 100% personal. It's Punk and Roman, personal.
Yep.
Drew McIntyre versus everybody, right?
Yeah,
that's personal.
Deep.
You know what I'm saying? The other woman's title, Stephanie and Liv. That got personal. That got personal
stuff.
And there. Now, if you just put Jade and Rhea, it's just like, okay, well, let's see. Let's hope they got a good match. No, they made it personal.
Yeah.
And now we highly invested. We invested in the 4 top titles.
Yeah. And that's a good job on that part. That's a good job, but they got to fill out 2-night card. And Yeah, it's some matches you can make. Don't get me wrong, but I think they missing something. Like, where's that special, like Bad Bunny? Like who's coming to add some heat to this thing?
I heard man still in
You
still
In
working
the
out.
rotation, but it ain't going to
Yeah.
be WrestleMania. They say. I don't know. I want to hear some other stuff. I was glad they don't put Demolition into the Hall of Fame. That's good. Long overdue. Long overdue. AJ Styles, Stephanie McMahon, but Demolition is definitely
So
long
Cena leading the
overdue.
class too, right?
I see not going in this year.
He's not going in this year.
Giving AJ his moment. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I think that's the only way to right the thing to do. Any other thoughts? What's going on in the world of wrestling? We've gone over our time, but we haven't had a long show in a while, so this is fair. That's it then. That's cool. Yeah, a lot going on. Elimination Chamber was a bust, in my opinion. But we basically got the matches set up for Mania, the big matches. And they'll continue to build out a card. If you haven't been watching AEW, Penta and who would he feud with?
No. I can care less about Penta. The women's IC. They got a big match coming up for the number one contender.
Oh, your girl, CM Punk's wife.
AJ has the title, and they got
like
Raquel, Io, Ivy now. It's like it's a 6-man match or whatever.
Most of them generally would be a heel, right?
I'm thinking Raquel's gonna take it.
Okay. Raquel and AJ Lee. I don't see it. You gotta put in there with somebody she can work with.
I need to see the build up.
Yeah,
can't work with nobody.
Anyway, it's very
part time.
They got a lot of talent right now, but I want to see what they do with Carmelo. I want to see what they do with Trick. I want to see what they do with Javon Evans. See what Obafemi and Rusev. I like that little standoff they had last week. That was good. Where do you go from there? It's not going to end well for Rusev clearly, but like what's the steps? I want to see the steps though.
I thought they would get more a push for Oba coming from the Royal Rumble, and it's been completely.
I think they've done a good job building them up. You thought they would shoot him like the world title or something?
No. I ain't saying that.
He better than doing with Royce Keys.
Shout out to Royce Keys. We're gonna see you one day. I think they did a good job at expanding his character. He's just not the big grizzly Adam. You know what I'm saying? The big gorilla. Like he's very articulate. He could talk and things like that. So yeah,
I mean, he held his own
podcast talking about breaking down in tears.
Yeah, he held his own with Cody when they had that 1-on-1 before.
Saturday Night Main Event.
Yeah, he was holding his own.
So. Obi can go. Yeah. You know what I mean? I ain't no doubt about that. But like I said, I want to see what they're going to do. Clearly, they got some plans. They got 6 weeks, man. It's WrestleMania. You got to do it right. 2 nights, not 1 night. 2 nights. They can easily fill out 1 night, but I want to see what they do for 2. You know what I mean? You got Charlotte, Becky, Alexa Bliss. You got a lot of Io Sky. And, you know what I mean? They got some names that you got to find something for these people to do. So fill it out, man. What's the Gunther match? What's the Uso match? Well, they've been wrestling with the Vision a little bit, but there's only one Vision left if Logan Paul in a single. like who are you going to do?
I thought that was going to be the title match, but the tag title match, but it's just going to be.
Braun might come back. Who knows?
Yeah, Braun might be back by then. You never know. But yeah, Seth. I think Seth wasn't 100% ready, but he was good enough that he could do that angle.
I think that
he'll be ready by Mania.
That was the first time he was the masked man. Every other time wasn't him. So.
They're going to do Grande versus Grande and Mask versus Mask. Yeah, so it should.
It don't hit the same when they're watching on AAA. I don't know what it is. When they on AAA, that I'll be into it.
Yeah, but they can unveil Chad Gable so Chad can be back to his regular self. Because I miss him on the mic. Chad was good on the mic before he got hurt, so that'd be good. And maybe that'd be for the no, that's not because that'd. I don't know what they'll do. I think they need to put Ray Phoenix back on Raw with his brother because he's floundering over there on SmackDown. He don't need to be over there. But that's about it. All right, thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. We went a little long, but it's been fun, very fun. Big weekend. Don't forget UFC this Saturday night. Check that out. NBA is always. What y'all think about NBA on NBC Throwback Night?
The throwback,
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
You had what's his name? Bob Costas and Mike Fratello and Doug Collins was on there. That was cool. They had all the old graphics. Yeah. No, I ain't see. Did they have Hannah? I ain't see Hannah.
No, I ain't see her. I ain't see her.
Remember Peter Vesey, Ahmad Rashad, and all of them? Yeah. Back in the day.
Peter Vesey was the inside guy.
Yeah, Peter Vesey.
They ain't pull out none of them old Jordan clips either, so it was a good night.
Yeah. Jordan said, I'm done with y'all. Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all another week next week for Get Off the Damn Fish. Y'all have a good one.